Xin chào tất cả mọi người, mình là Taki. Hiện tại mình đang thi đấu vị trí support cho TSW. Thì giải đấu LCP sắp tới sẽ được tổ chức tại Đà Nẵng. Đó chính là quê hương mà mình được sinh ra và lớn lên. Mình muốn giới thiệu cho tất cả các bạn những địa điểm để vui chơi, đó chính là biển nè, chùa Linh Ứng nè, và có thể đến Hội An. Còn những món ngon thì mọi người có thể trải nghiệm bánh tráng kẹp, bánh tráng đập, mì Quảng, bún bò và còn rất nhiều món ngon khác nữa mà mình không thể kể hết được. Mong rằng mọi người sẽ có một trải nghiệm thật tuyệt tại Đà Nẵng, Việt Nam. Cảm ơn mọi người.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Bull. Mình là vị trí top lane của TSW. Riêng mình thì mình rất thích cơm tấm và bún thịt nướng ở Việt Nam. Nếu các bạn có dịp thử thì các bạn hãy thử những món này. Mình nghĩ khá là phù hợp với khẩu vị của người châu Á.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là DJ. Sắp tới LCP sẽ tổ chức ở Đà Nẵng. Mình sẽ giới thiệu cho các bạn món ăn là phở.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là SD. Sắp tới giải đấu LCP được tổ chức ở Đà Nẵng tại Việt Nam. Mình sẽ giới thiệu cho các bạn một món siêu là ngon mang tên là bún bò Huế.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là người chơi đường của TSW. Thì sắp tới có một sự kiện lớn ở Đà Nẵng, đó là sự kiện offline của LCP. Thì mình muốn giới thiệu cho các bạn món ăn mình yêu thích nhất ở Đà Nẵng là mì Quảng. Thì mong các bạn sẽ thưởng thức mì Quảng thật là ngon.
Đến Đà Nẵng các bạn nhớ ăn mì Quảng nha.
Đến Đà Nẵng các bạn hãy thử món bún chả cá.
Đến Đà Nẵng các bạn nhớ ăn món bánh xèo gì.
Đến Đà Nẵng các bạn hãy thử món bánh này.
Đến Đà Nẵng các bạn không nên bỏ qua món hải sản ở Đà Nẵng.
Đến Đà Nẵng thì các bạn hãy nhớ thử món cao lẩu.
Đến Đà Nẵng các bạn hãy ăn bánh xèo.
Các bạn đừng bỏ lỡ những trận đấu của tụi mình ở LCP Final lần này nhé.
Bye bye.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Rex. Hiện tại thì sắp tới là LCP Final được tổ chức diễn ra ngay tại Đà Nẵng, trên chính quê hương của mình, nơi mà không chỉ có những món ăn ngon như là mì Quảng, bánh tráng, có tiền luộc, cũng như là có rất nhiều những cái view đẹp. Đáng nói nhất đó là chính là những cái view biển ngay tại Đà Nẵng. Mình đang rất là vô cùng háo hức, thì hẹn gặp các bạn ở tại Đà Nẵng vào tháng 9 tới.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là Kia và như mọi người cũng biết là sắp tới sẽ có một sự kiện diễn ra, đó là chung kết giải đấu LCP Final. Thì mình nghĩ đó là một nơi mà có thể mọi người tới, cũng như là tất cả mọi người tới để có thể chung dịp và gặp gỡ lẫn nhau và có được cái trải nghiệm như là xem được các trận đấu hấp dẫn, cũng như là có một cái nơi để mà tuyệt đẹp. Gọi là mình nghĩ là đó là ở Đà Nẵng thì đó là một thành phố rồi, mình nghĩ rất là đẹp, có biển xanh, cũng là cát trắng, cũng như là có nhiều đồ ăn ngon ở đó. Thì mong là mọi người sẽ tới đó hòa cùng nhiều chung với nhau, và hy vọng là mọi người có thể tới xem và hòa chung cùng nhịp thôi. Cảm ơn mọi người nhé.
Lady xin chào mọi người. Sự kiện LCP Final năm 2025 diễn ra tại Đà Nẵng chắc chắn sẽ là một sự kiện mà mọi người không muốn bỏ lỡ. Ngoài việc mà các bạn có thể hòa chung vào không khí cuồng nhiệt của các bạn khán giả tại nhà thi đấu, các bạn còn có thể đi ăn những món ngon tại Đà Nẵng, các bạn còn có thể đi dạo biển, có thể ngắm cầu rồng nữa. Và đây là một cái sự kiện rất là vui, các bạn có thể là sẽ muốn rủ bạn bè của mình, người thân đi xem cùng nữa. Chúc các bạn có một khoảng thời gian vui vẻ tại thành phố Đà Nẵng.
Xin chào mọi người, tụi mình là GAM. Sự kiện LCP Final diễn ra tại Đà Nẵng cũng sẽ là một sự kiện rất là hấp dẫn và bùng nổ. Mọi người nhớ đến Đà Nẵng để tham gia sự kiện LCP Final 2025 nha. Let's go guys!
Finds the angle to do so.
Herald dropped as well.
Alongside.
Oh!
Chris, you absolute beast!
不要是第二名就好，因为职业选手啊，感觉只有第一名才会被大家看见。
Absolutely manhandled, flashes away. It's going to be Maple turning up.
Oh my lord!
But Rest is happy to take the fight. Maple will eventually find it. Will he?
일단은 저희가 오늘 마지막 경기가 될 수도 있는데 이제 저희 입장에서는 절대 물러설 곳이 없고, 그래서 반드시 이겨야만 한다고 생각을 해서 지금 당장은 이길 생각밖에 없는 것 같아요.
You can see the smiles on their face. They've made playoffs. They get to fight. They get to look towards Worlds. They could be one of the 3 teams the LCP sends over there.
Như đã nói trước đó thì việc mình chưa bao giờ giành được một danh hiệu nào, thì lần này cái điều đó rất là thúc đẩy mình và các đồng đội để giành được danh hiệu đầu tiên ở tại LCP lần này.
Ricochet's really ripping through those health bars forward. Will go Histo, but he's going to be taken out immediately. Look at the CC. PSG finding it, but the damage is down from Mini. The triple comes out yet again, and Pun in the meanwhile shredding through the top lane.
Việc thúc đẩy em ngay lúc này có lẽ là tất cả những người đồng đội cũng như tất cả những các bạn khán giả ở Việt Nam lúc này.
如果能拿到 LCP 的第一座奖杯，意义的话很非凡吧。毕竟打职业就是想要拿到最好的成绩。
Most likely going to go down. Nice flash, gets him clear of a lot of the damage. Then comes Carson. Arya might be the next target. Arya's taking a lot of damage himself. Flash the blade, but he's going to get taken out by Carson. And so strong on this Pantheon, he's going to be able to continue forward. Woody finds a nice knock up and finds an even nicer one there onto Citrus.
Việc nâng cấp của giải đấu LCP thì đối với mình thì thực sự rất là quan trọng, tại vì kể cả mùa đầu tiên kích off và mùa xuân thì bọn mình đã không có được gọi là cơ hội để mà nâng cấp, thì cái việc mà nâng cấp giải LCP lần này thì nó mang ý nghĩa rất là lớn đối với mình cũng như cả đội, là sẽ là lần đầu tiên được du lịch giải LCP và sẽ có được nâng cấp.
김현대 챔피언이 두 번째를 보여줍니다. 태원입니다.
왕관의 무게. 지금 생각해보자면 사실 왕관 자체가 그렇게 무거운 물건은 아니라고 생각하거든요. 그렇게 무게를 느끼는 건 저는 본인의 마음에 달려있다고 생각을 하기 때문에 그다지 무겁다고 생각하지는 않는 것 같습니다.
좀 초반 템포가 굉장히 중요하다 생각했어가지고 맵을 넓게 쓰면서 파이크를 몇 번 해봤는데 제가 생각했던 대로 게임 흐름이 편해지는 것 같아서 이제 대회에서 기용하게 됐습니다.
다이브 당하기 전에 좀 그런 핵심을 잘 짚어내는 것 같고요. 작년 월드 때 나르가 굉장히 성능이 좋았었어가지고 자신 있게 뽑았던 것 같습니다.
바위 같은 경우에 이제 강제력이 좋다고 해야 되나? 그래서 그런 부분에 있어서 상대방이 이제 뭐 스틸을 하려고 하든 아니면은 싸움을 하려고 하든 그럴 때 바위 궁극기 같은 걸로 걸 수가 있기 때문에 그런 점이 조금 강점이지 않을까.
캐리아 선수가 파이크로 칼날비를 들었어가지고 저도 그거에 맞춰서 좀 압박을 줘야 된다고 생각해서 칼날비를 선택한 것 같습니다.
우리 팀 위치나 상대팀 위치가 좀 복합적으로 생각하는 게 많아서 어느 정도는 좀 계산하는 것도 있지만 좀 감각적으로 하는 것도 많은 것 같습니다. 세세히 다 얘기해서 뭐 그렇게 상황이 나왔다기보다는 그냥 제가 순간적으로 걸었을 때 팀원들이 저를 믿고 잘 이제 호응해줬던 것 같습니다. 작년 월드 같은 경우에는 증명했다라는 기쁨보다는 저희가 이제 또 다시 해냈다라는 기쁨이 컸던 것 같고 작년에 되게 어려운 한 해였다고 생각했는데 이렇게 마지막에 또 우승할 수 있어서 기쁜 마음밖에 없었던 것 같습니다.
The blossoms fall, and the black rose rises. Do you feel like the heroes of this story? Coming to save the day. You're pawns in a game that's already been decided. You will fight, as good soldiers do.
I will seal you away once more.
Your age has passed, Darkin. Stay buried.
And you will fail, as mortals must. Your course was doomed the moment you left Demacia. And entered my world of thorns. Make your final stand. and see how your story ends.
이번 스킨의 핵심 테마는 무게를 견뎌낸 챔피언들입니다. 단순히 승리한 팀이 아니라 압도적 기대와 무게를 이겨낸 팀이었기 때문이죠. 이 무게를 상징적으로 담아낼 수 있는 가장 적절한 세계관이 중세 유럽 판타지였습니다. 왕관, 기사, 권위, 그런 구조를 통해 Heavy is the Crown이라는 월즈 앤 썸턴과 맞물리게 되었죠.
번개의 신 제우스를 스킬 이펙트와 미니나르 분메랑에 넣었고요. 변신했을 때는 거대한 느낌을 주지만 그렇다고 또 너무 과하진 않게 잘 나온 것 같습니다. 강력한 짐승 같은 거대 나르의 번개의 힘이 흐르는 모습을 보여드리고 싶었습니다. 월즈에서 플레이한 제 스타일의 나르를 스킨으로 잘 표현해 주신 것 같아요. 나르한테 좀 안경을 씌워놨는데 좀 그게 재밌는 것 같습니다. 제가 월즈 우승하고 트로피에 머리를 한번 찌은 그런 사건이 있었었는데 그거를 귀한 모션에 잘 녹여주신 것 같습니다. 와, 살아있네, 메가나르가.
말을 하지 말고 맡기자. 그래서 저의 말을 들으면 들을수록 더 이상해질 수도 있어요.
이 토템 목걸이에도 있는 호랑이를 디자인에 넣어달라고 요청했었습니다. 단순한 장식 요소를 넘어서 제 상징으로서 호랑이를 담을 수 있도록 무기 자체 디자인을 멋지게 해석해 주셨어요. 귀한 모션에서 유니폼을 이제 어깨에 걸친 형태를 제가 희망해가지고 제 아이덴티티를 최대한 많이 스킨에 넣고 싶었었습니다. 잘 나온 것 같습니다. 괜찮은 것 같은데요?
2024년 같은 경우에는 제가 디펜딩 챔피언으로 다시 우승한 한 해이기도 하고 조금 무게감 있는 그런 스킨이 나오면 좋겠다라고 생각을 해서 그런 좀 그림자라든지 되게 좀 묵직한 느낌을 많이 주려고 했고요. 팀으로서의 그런 날카로움 같은 것들을 좀 많이 보여주려고 최대한 좀 뾰족하게 그런 것들을 잘 살렸던 것 같아요.
저는 그 귀한 모션 할 때 그 뭐 홀로그램처럼 그 추억이 나온다 했잖아요. 이번 워이즈에 좀 서사가 있었습니다.
구마요시 선수의 제안은 제작팀에게 영감을 줬습니다. T1 스킨 제작 전반에 큰 영향을 끼쳤죠.
저는 스킨 전반에 회색, 흰색 톤을 최대한 활용하길 원했고요. 디자인은 약간 유럽 조각상처럼 조형적인 느낌이 들었으면 좋겠다고 말씀드렸어요.
회색, 흰색, 검은색 이렇게 해가지고 여기 유럽이니까 막 박물관에 그런 예술품들 그런 컨셉을 생각해.
일단 개인적인 생각이라고 말해주세요.
모두의 생각이 아니고
전체적으로 이번 스킨 시리즈가 무게를 견딘 자들에 대한 이야기인데 바로스는 그 무게를 겉으로 드러내지 않는
이미지나 스킨적으로만 표현했으면 좋겠어요. 뭐 숨은 의미 막 그렇게까지는 안 봐도.
빨간색 느낌이 되는 게 멋진 것 같고 스킬들도 좀 세 보여서 좋은 것 같아요. 그리고 제가 바로스 WQ로 바론 스틸을 좀 했었어서 귀한 모션에 바론 피냐타 이렇게 터트리는 것도 들어가 있고요. 크루아상도 제가 맛있게 먹었잖아요. 그 요소도 잘 살려주셨습니다. It's good.
되게 간지나고 멋지고 좀 진지한 분위기를 나타내는 느낌을 많이 원했던 것 같고
간지나는 마스크를 쓰고 있었으면 좋겠어요.
멋진 마스크, 멋지고 스타일리시하게 이제 또 요즘 사람이다 보니까는 좀 스타일리시하게 부탁드렸던 것 같습니다. 어깨 장식 같은 게 좀 뾰족뾰족하고 좀 높게 올라가서 이제 포인트를 줄 수 있으면 좋겠다고 생각했고 무기 디자인도 더 날카롭고 긴 진짜 칼처럼 그런 형태를 이제 또 희망했습니다. 파이크가 살생부를 딱 펼치거든요. 그림을 자세히 보시면은 무슨 챔피언인지 이제 잘 알 수 있을 거예요. 파이크의 꽃이 또 이제 궁 표시라고 생각하는데 그런 표시들이 또 T1의 상징인 붉은색으로 이제 이펙트들 나오고 그리고 좀 너무 붉으면 또 안 되다 보니까는 은색 같은 걸로 좀 같이 곁들여서 나왔는데 제가 생각했던 것보다 훨씬 궁 표시가 예쁘게 나온 것 같아가지고 너무 만족합니다. 초월급인데 이 정도면?
이번에는 사일러스인데 여러분들이 또 결승전에서 저희 플레이를 많이 좋아해 주셔서 스킨이 나오게 됐는데요. 이번 스킨은 사일러스 스킨 중에 처음으로 양쪽 팔의 사슬이 서로 다르다고 합니다. 그리고 이펙트를 딱 봤을 때 되게 작정하고 멋있게 만들어 주신 것 같습니다. 더 어둡고 더 위압적인 느낌을 많이 살렸습니다. 귀환 모션에서 왕관이 불타면서 해방되는 듯한 액션이 있는데 그런 게 사일러스의 멋을 많이 표현한 것 같아요. 제가 파이널 MVP가 될 수 있게 많이 도와준 사일러스 프레스티지 스킨도 많이 사랑해주세요.
2024 월드 우승의 감동을
팬 여러분들이
다시 한번
느껴보셨으면 좋겠습니다.
감사합니다.
Carry the darkness into the light. I'm a renegade. I carry the darkness.
Heading into what will be our final night before we take to the road here for the LCP. Two teams vying for the last spot in Da Nang and then, of course, Worlds. And it is an all-VCS derby. Both teams looking hungrily to fight for that spot to represent on home turf. My name is Blue Panda. I will be your game master tonight. Unfortunately, due to complications outside of our control, it will just be me. We hope Bastion recovers quickly and we hope to see him back soon for that live finals in Da Nang. And we thank Pike for his time over the last couple of days, but luckily my partner says I can talk well enough for two people, so I will be taking you all through it tonight. Like I said, two teams, two VCS representatives looking for that last spot, going to Da Nang, and Worlds, of course, looking as well to represent in front of a home crowd. They have been playing away from home all year. Of course, Team Secret Wales taking on GAM tonight, and both teams have claim, of course, to this shot, this chance, this opportunity to represent in front of a home crowd. Team Secret Wales coming in, the hot young upstarts coming out of the
the VCS. They are hungry, they are keen. They have shown that they can hang with the best of them, but when it comes to crunch time, they have been somewhat shaky. Pun, Hizdo, Dyer, Eddie, and Taki looking to get that opportunity to represent on the international stage as one of the youngest competitive teams in this region. Then, of course, Hero as well has had his time throughout the playoffs bracket, filling in. Him and Pun interchangeable up in that top lane, but the young can only get so far. Ambition can only carry you to a certain point, of course. Wisdom and experience may be what carries us over the line for their opponents. GAM Esports coming in collectively with decade upon decade of experience at a high competitive level. This roster has gone to MSI, they've gone to the Esports World Cup, and they have put the world on notice, and they're looking to do it once again with Captain Levi at the helm. GAM Esports, one of the most beloved orgs coming out of Vietnam, wanting that chance to represent once again. Kiaya, Captain Levi, Emo, Artemis, and Elio. They went to MSI, they fell at the last hurdle to G2, but boy, did they put on a showcase. And then you look at who's there alongside them. RS may come in at some point through that mid lane, and Coach Archie, a former GAM Gigabyte Marine at the time, member in that top lane, having played with Levi. This roster has shown some of the best League of Legends that the VCS has ever seen. But for now, time for a quick break. After the Riot Fest, it's time to see who joins CFO and PSG in Da Nang.
Carry the darkness into the light. I'm a renegade. I carry the
Heading into a domestic rivalry that has been brewing for the entirety of 2025. The first time these two teams faced off in a playoffs bracket, it was GAM sending Secret Wales home in the season kickoff, a 2-0 to deny them any shot further in that chance towards that first stand tournament, of course. But things have progressed. The year has developed and both teams have looked better and better as time has gone on. The big difference, the crux between the two teams is that when it comes to crunch time, GAM has just been the team to get it done. They were able to do it in the mid-season. They might just be able to do it again. But up against Team Secret Wales, a team that is hungry, determined, and yearning for that chance to represent the LCP. And ooh, Kiaya, the look back. I don't know what maybe of cooking behind that look, but whatever it was, maybe something was said. Hizdo and Levi taking to the stage now, two incredibly pivotal players for their respective teams, will likely be that linchpin that kicks off that momentum that could seal or open that door. Mid laners, Dyer, domestically one of the most dominant players we have had in our competition. Emo has had his ups and downs. Domestically, he as well has been performing incredibly well. But it's Aris that has gone onto the international stage and blown up. Eddie, Artemis, these two have had their moments in the spotlight. Artemis internationally, Eddie definitely domestically. But a single best of 5 now that separates them from that spot at Worlds for 2025 or an early finish to the year. Of course, both teams safe from relegations. Vikings, unfortunately, biting that bullet. Lolpacific looking to take their seats now. Of course, some of the best ranged Enchantress supports that we have in the competition. They're barred both respectively. Has been absolutely insane to see develop throughout. Unless there is a Varus and the Hands Dog on the other side, then it's a little bit rough. But either way, with the coaching experience for both teams standing behind them, this is gearing up to be one hell of a series. Especially Archie has really opened up this GAM roster and what they've been able to achieve over the last couple of months. This split has been a little bit rough. That is undeniable. But you see, GAM now centering themselves, bracing for the storm that will be coming their way in the form of Secret Wales. And this team has been unrelenting through the regular season. Team Secret Wales, one of the most dominant forces through the regular season outside of CFO. So as we head into the draft, there is a decent amount of overlap with those picks. There is going to be a lot going into that banning phase. And you'd have to imagine that there is shenanigans abound. You look, both VCS teams have played that Nocturne Hizdo more frequently than, say, Captain Levi. But you look at some of those picks that Levi's brought in. That Zed in particular has been absolutely insane. Red side opted into, so again, we continue on to that same trend that we've seen throughout almost the entirety of this playoffs bracket. A red side opt-in to kick the series off, having that higher seed, looking for the counter pick. It was only the two PCS teams that prioritized the blue side, looking for that prior because of so much overlap in both teams' respective champion pools. But now they want to get that one up in that final picking phase to get things over the line here. 3 games separating either of these teams from either an early exit or a chance to represent in Da Nang and in China at Worlds 2025 with some of the best teams in the world. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of prior around that mid lane, especially against Dire. Has been absolutely outstanding, an island unto himself. Emo, a little bit shakier, has been read into a fair few times by a number of opponents. So you'd have to hope that in that time off that they've had coming into this lower bracket semi-final Sunday, that they will be ready and prepared. They've had their grounding moment. They've zen themselves. And as we jump into Champion Select, the ban phase, Nico, no surprise that it's taken away off the rip. And Bessa and Galio, both those champions in the hands of Kiai and Emo, I'd imagine, respectively. Absolutely insane. Pantheon, Aurora, and potentially something along the lines of that Talia, I'd imagine, going to be banned away here. Maybe even the Azir. 2 bans towards Dire makes a lot of sense for this GAM roster. They don't want him to become that big monster that we know he can be, but it's going to be the Nocturne instead. So it's 2 bans towards Hizdo, looking to shut down some of his momentum in the jungle. In terms of what we've seen, Varus is available, Yunara is available. There are some very scary picks that have been let through. Vi out of the jungle, Rumble Gwen up in the top lane. What is the prior? It's Rumble for Hero, denying that away from Kiai, one of his strongest champs to date. Fighting consistently, winning out in those 1v2s even. So it makes a lot of sense. Bit of a double-edged sword there. It's a strong pick for Hero, denies that away from Kiai. But what is the response? There is still that Vi in the jungle. Deny that away from Hizdo means that they don't have that natural synergy, the cease and desist into the equalizer. Potentially even the Yunara angle, but it is going to be a Talia. Gives them some of that global presence and a Wukong as well. So denying a lot of natural pairings that synergize quite well with the Rumble. That Cyclone not going to be an option for them anymore, but saying that the Vi still up and available, still as an angle here for Hizdo if he wants to go that direction. Oriana coming through. This could be a Jarvan look in for Hizdo. Just synergistically would be absolutely absurd. Would force Artemis onto a bot laner that would be a little bit more mobile. You don't want to be playing those Varuses at all. Even the Kaiser, the Desire, does get some value, obviously, but they take the Alistar to boot. So Team Secret Wales definitely cooking some wombo in this combo. Leaving those the bot lane and jungle pick till second phase. What do GAM look to take away here? Rakan could get a lot of value, absolutely, if they want that for Elio. And it is going to be locked in, pairs crazy well with the Wukong and that Taliyah. Follows up on the jump in and the Cyclone. Kiana taken away from Hizdo. Rise in Prio. At the tail end of this playoff bracket has been absolutely through the roof for the Kiana. And we've seen exactly why it can really take over those games. All of those choke points become very, very dangerous in those neutral objective fights. Artemis, I mean, you look to ban away the Kai'Sa, I'd imagine, potentially the Xayah as well. Just natural pairings, but it's going to be a Gwen away from Kiaya. It has been a matchup we've seen played up into that Rumble pretty consistently. He's going to get a lot of value as well, so taking that from Kiaya, another strong champion for himself, but he's still got a lot in the pool. I don't think GAM are particularly worried about it. What are you doing? Again, Kai'Sa could be another one. Sivir as well, a very, very solid ban from GAM. Sivir Alistar combo with an Orianna and a Rumble. It's a lot of chase down power. Becomes a little bit hard for GAM to deal with. They have some kite, but not the best. Now, final ban. See no reason not to ban something along the lines of that Xayah, potentially a Kai'Sa ban even. May even be an angle. I mean, Corki wouldn't be terrible here. Gives them that Valkyrie out, but they rather choose the Scion. So that's denied again. Another strong champion for Kiaya taken away. The Team Secret well. So they're going to take the Ornn for Kiaya up in that top side. Nice tank. He should do well into the Rumble. Isn't going to suffer all that greatly. They save the bot lane pick for Artemis to that 5th. Gives them that counter. Team Secret Whales will have to show their hand. What do they want? I mean, Jarvan, Kai'Sa, fairly strong. Going to synergize reasonably well. It's the Yunara instead. Was let through that ban phase. So what do they give Hizdo to enable this Orianna combo? Jarvan makes a lot of sense. Realistic, I don't see there's a reason not for it not to be. And Xin Zhao, you could go that angle as well. Vi, all pretty solid ball delivery systems. Vi, just that little bit more guaranteed. And it is going to be the Jarvan. So everyone get in the Thunderdome. It's time to fight it out. Jarvan is going to be helping here for Hizdo. Synergistically, a very scary comp. And I mean, you can go the Xayah, but it's going to be the Corki instead. I did say a little bit more safety with the Valkyrie. Can get over the Cataclysm. Isn't going to be suffering all that greatly. Does mean, though, that it is going to be a slightly longer game for GAM before they start to come online. Artemis going to be spiking around those 2 items. With an Ornn, you definitely look and go later stages in the game. Unfortunately, with an Orianna and a Yunara drafted for Team Secret Whales, they're quite happy to scale up into the later stages of the game because they're going to get pretty darn monstrous. We've seen what a powerhouse this Yunara can be. See, can't be much the same in Eddie's hands. A little bit of lockdown potential though. They do have that counterplay. Yunara, unless transcended, doesn't really have the most mobility for sure. So they can get that flash down early. In fact, there's a lot of punishable targets on the side of Team Secret Whales and the coaches. For one of these coaches, it will be the last time, or rather, tonight will be the last time they take to the stage for a good long while. And indeed, there he is, the man, TK. Sunday, the Kings play, and we'll see. Will GAM be the Kings of the VCS and join CFO and PSG Talent in Danang next weekend? It's anyone's guess. The Super Galaxy Rumble, Choo Choo Ornn. So far, the skin game is pretty clean. But in saying that, historically, GAM, when it comes to playoff time, has just had that leg up compared to the Team Secret Whales, who, while may have punted them around pretty heftily in the group stage, haven't had that same success on eliminations on the line. And for the last time, this split the home crowd here for the LCP, cheering teams on. Looking for Taki. They're going to spot him, just getting some deep vision down here on Team Secret Whales' red side. Not even that, just looking, posturing, trying to maybe gauge where things are going to be kicked off, but Hizdo showing himself up on that top side. Getting deep ward down onto Levi's Raptors, shows himself. Not expecting a huge amount of craziness in the laning phase. I mean, there is going to be bullying happening for sure up in that top side, and we do traditionally see mid laners going at it hammer and tongs. But an early D ward there from Taki. The gold lead for Eddie, if only a minuscule amount. There is kill potential for sure. If there is any greed shown on this bot side, and they do have a ward in that brush, GAM. They will be aware of Taki's attempts at shenanigans. Quill goes out, a little bit extra healing for Artemis. Oh, the mid lane fight has begun. Dire copping the brunt of it. There is that kill threat that potentially comes along once junglers do progress, especially for Hizdo. 2 online, he's essentially a gank machine at the moment. They've cleared that vision out early. That might just be the game plan here for Team Secret Wales, a level 2 gank from Hizdo, but in fact it is going to be an invade first. Headbutt pulverized in onto Artemis. Forced back to heal. The slows coming through courtesy of Eddie, but the turnaround's pretty severe here. And a hefty trade in the first 2.5 minutes of gameplay. Means that health bars are in a very, very exploitable state, and the flash gone from Artemis. Hizdo might just give up on the Gromp here, knowing full well that this could be a kill play. Flash for Taki, headbutt pulverizer the flag and drag, looking for the early first blood, and it will be found. Team Secret Wales on the board before 3 minutes, and exactly the lane that you want to be exploiting here. Yunara can snowball into such a monster in the late game, getting Artemis off the rift and leaving him in a position where he can't sit in lane against Taki and Eddie. It's exactly how you want to play this, and it may even be that GAM looked for a potential lane swap. Early charge from Kiai. As we go back to the replay, it was so well read here. That early invade, and Team Secret Wales' game plan was to have Hizdo on this side of the rift. The headbutt pulverize in onto Artemis, forces him to blow that flash very, very early. Doesn't have that heal out of Elio either, and they're looking for fights as well in the bot side red. It's going to be Levi in a bit of trouble here, trying to get himself over the wall, burns the flash, and will be away through the dragon pit. There, clean as you like. Hizdo walks away with first blood, and they almost get themselves more to boot. Just making sure that Hizdo has an easy time here. He is down somewhat, but realistically there's not all that much for Levi to find, which is why he did look for that invade. Wanted to try and keep those losses as significant as possible. But unfortunately for him, Hizdo gets back into his own jungle off the recall. Was gate-kept by Taki. From there, we'll look to return to the natural pathing. So a great flurry of action from Team Secret Wales, and this is what we were saying the other night. We needed to see this return to Team Secret Wales into that scrappy, chaotic, hectic style of play. Forcing those fights early, often, and on repeat. This is where they've historically found the most success, of course. Dire in the mid lane is battling it out with Emo as well. Both mid laners have had that recall off. It's going to be interesting to see what path Dire does look into. Oh, potentially that Blackfire build, which we've seen out of him in the past. It's been an angle that he's looked back to pretty repeatedly. But it still could be that Rod of Ages. Starting with the Sapphire Crystal first. Kiaya looking for a potential lockup, but not enough mana that realistically this fight goes all that well, and a pretty decent minion wave. On top of the fact that, well, Hero overheating there was going to do a lot of damage. Those rotations in from supports, and well, Taki and Hizdo might have an angle here onto Alio. Does have the flash, ward goes down. They're going to be fighting over those control wards, headbutt away, and Taki will clear out Elio's. Unfortunately, I think Elio probably gets that answer back anyway. So much of a wet noodle fight, realistically. Standard goes down. They will spot the TP in from Kiai. So the lane swap has been initiated by GAM. Don't know how well that goes, realistically. Hero's having a pretty all right time for himself. That flames, but it does hurt. Elio in, looking for Dire. Pretty easy catch with Taki here, and that command shockwave available. Pretty scary potential turnaround. Kiaya going in onto Eddie. He's in a bit of trouble right now. Called the Forge God coming through. Levi's there as well, but it's worth the money. They've landed onto Hizdo. Can he flash away? Yes, he can. Levi doesn't have flash of his own. So a great play in. Taki also falling to Elio and Emo in the mid lane. Command shockwave not buying them what they'd want, and GAM answer back with 2 flashes, a kill, and a dragon to boot. coming out well in that trade. That lane swap paying off absolute dividends, and all the while Artemis left to his lonesome up in that top lane, getting a lot of value off this macro call. Elio, Levi looking to potentially steal this Raptors camp away, given that pressure. They've got the ward in the brush as well. They know they can take this pretty handy, but Hizdo draws it all the way in towards the tower, just wastes a bit of time here away from Levi. And what a call it was. Taki, what happens here? Command Shockwave onto 2, it was so good. How did, oh, the seismic shove into the tower range, into the grand entrance. The worst of worst situations. Unfortunately, limit testing a little bit too hard there. Gives some goal back. Luckily, only to Elio, not to Emo. He was just about to take over to 6. There you go. The Weaver's Wall up now and available. So a little bit more macro presence going to be unleashed now for GAM if they want to react or proactively look to make plays on those side lanes. Artemis and Elio here once again. That top side looking to get some vision with less than a minute now to Grubs. It does indicate at least that both teams will be looking to try and contest this, both junglers as well. Nigh on 6. Cataclysm and Cyclone should be coming up in just a moment. Recall's going to be coming through first. Dire just sidestepping his way out of that seismic shove, up about 10 CS, so he's got himself somewhat of a lead. Not a full level, but enough that they need to slow him down if possible. Still flash available, a little bit harder to stick to. Cyclone there. Hizdo gonna have it up as well. At the same time, Scrubs do spawn. Levi is on a ward. Hero down the bot side. Kiaya, neither of them have teleport, so it's just going to be that continued wet noodle fight here. All the action kicks off. Potentially with that lane pushed up, Hero can look to rotate up. Try and assist, does have the equalizer, but it's a long road. Flag and drag into the Cataclysm is going to be available, but Levi in the vicinity with the Cyclone needs to be worried about. And there you go, headbutt pulverized, Cyclone into a Cataclysm. Levi's in trouble. He's finished off by Eddie. Now Artemis and Elio have to run tail between legs. Can Hizdo get the follow-up? Can Taki set it up? Big damage coming out from Eddie. Just transcended. Gets himself the feat of warfare, a double for the Unara. And another great turnabout here from Team Secret Wales. GAM thought they were in prime position to contest that. Unfortunately, just the CC chain onto Levi means that by the time he gets a Cyclone off, he's lost the vast majority of his HP. And phenomenal timing there for Eddie to tick on over to 6 and pull out the ult and snipe away that second kill. As it stands, look at it. They had the vision, they had the knowledge, and then flash, headbutt, pulverize into the flag and track, into the Cataclysm. That Cyclone's coming out with maybe 100 HP and a dream to work with. And then Elio just slapped down and then sniped away. Eddie, very, very clean on it. 3-1, about 1,500 the gold lead off the back of 2 grubs being taken as well for Team Secret Wales. They really are just stacking up accolades across the rift. These guys have been hungry and repeatedly shown that throughout the year that they want that chance, that opportunity. As a young up-and-coming roster for the most part out of the VCS to get that chance to represent where the likes of GAM had even earlier this year. Headbutt pulverize into a minion, catches Elio and the slow onto Artemis, so it is just a little bit of harass here. As Eddie, grand entrance just a little bit off the money. A little bit too quick. That Unara to be caught out in that situation, but you see 6 available now for Elio. The quickness is going to be available in the subsequent team fights. With the synergy, I mean, it's a lot of lockdown. Cyclone, Call to the Forge gone. Quickness and grand entrance into a seismic shove. That's a lot of time where you just aren't going to be allowed to play the game. So GAM, if they find their openings, if they find their targets, they can find a great amount of effect. But the problem being, Command Shockwave, Cataclysm, Equalizer. That is a terrifying combo of comp. The Team Secret Wales have drafted themselves. Positioning is going to have to be key, and I doubt GAM are going to be looking for a team fight in any of these choke points in the jungle. And last Grub, left on his lonesome, orphaned, unfortunately. This Team Secret Wales have already taken 2. Realistically, Hizdo potentially could even look in to finish that off, but Levi off the Krugs may go and sniff it out and get himself at least the 1. Koenig start for Kiaya makes a lot of sense. There is a pretty significant amount of magic damage coming out through Hero Diet and of course Eddie's passive. Lane gank from Levi, just playing into that fog of war. He has been just a thief in the night, looking for fights in the mid lane. Command Shockwave is out, doesn't find its mark. Levi has done some criminal stuff over the wall into the Cyclone. Artemis is looking for it. The flash away from Hero should just call an end to the play. They get the flash and they'll be happy with that. Or unfortunately, having shown himself top, it allows Hizdo to get himself into that Dragon Pit. Oh, stunned up by the Scattered Earth. Gets the headbutt, but not the Pulverize. Very near missed opportunity. Levi is just going to take this grub on a control ward. You can see they're all beelining there. Alio trying to play spoiler. Get in front and deny them that collapse in. Keep his captain alive. They're going to do it successfully. Hizdo looks for the turn in, but not a huge amount of damage coming out of this Jarvan with just a Sundered Sky yet. 1,000 gold lead, though, has built itself up in the bot lane alone. And that is a very scary prospect. Yunara scales incredibly well into the mid-late game. Sort of hit that 2 items. Kraken Slayer into something like the Runans is really where she starts to become a team-fighting monster. So there is potential concern on the horizon for GAM. They don't have the greatest of tools in terms of getting in on it. She's a lot of slows in the kit. Able to dash away as well. Hizdo in on the backside. Could they find an angle onto Emo? No flash there, but sniffs something out and sees Taki and Eddie coming through the river. They've looked for an angle onto Elio, but the grand entrance should get him away. Had the flash as well, so Cataclysm would have just been wasted. Ward drop. Hizdo looks to steal away Levi's Raptor camp. We'll do just that. 2 minutes for the next objective, being that Herald. Start to see those items coming online. Levi finishes his Triforce. Archangel Staff now for Emo and the Canic Recurrent. Oh, yeah, this one. Up for Kiaya. Leandri's done for Hero. So in these team fights, if Artemis gets caught without Valkyrie or Flash, if anyone gets caught, they're in trouble. Ward over the unfortunate headbutt. Pulverize only lands into the clone. The Flag and Drag as well off the money. Seismic Shove does just clip Hizdo into that Scattered Earth. Cyclone in. Hizdo, Cataclysm out onto Emo, but you look over the wall, comes Eddie, jumping in to assist. Cyclone number 2 out, and there you go. Call the Forge God. It's 2 crit kills going the way of Team Secret Wales. Hizdo and Eddie eating up big. Hizdo in trouble. Gets the heal off the Sundered Sky. Dire following it up. They found 3. They might just only lose the 1, but not even that. They're looking for the turnaround. They're looking for even more. Team Secret Wales will find 4, and nothing found by GAM. It's an absolute rout in the top side. At the 13.5-minute mark, 7 kills to 1 now. All the while, Hero on the bot side just pounding away at the plates. And GAM in a really rough spot, and even then, that's off the back of a very, very scattered fight. You didn't even have the equalizer, and it goes as roughly as it does there. Plates fall, unfortunately. Hero not hitting hard enough just yet that he's going to be able to finish it off, but you look at how this starts. The ward there, headbutt Pulverize onto a clone. It's the Flag and Drag from Hizdo that actually connects onto Levi, but a Seismic Shove clipping him on the heels into that last little pebble of the Scattered Earth, turns around, drops the Cataclysm onto Emo, who's got no way out with a Command Shockwave on top. I don't know what the heck happened to Elio there, but he bounced off a wall, looks for the quickness into Eddie. Gaia comes through, and it looks like maybe there's going to be an answer back. Artemis just can't. Hizdo is such a beast. Gets the Flag and Drag away. Denies him that chance at a kill. He comes back up to try and help his top laner, but it is far too little and far too late. And a great start to this series for Team Secret Wales. Playoffs has been the bane of their existence in the 2025 season, and it seems that maybe, just maybe, all that work that they've put in is helping them to buck this trend. 15 minutes, Herald up and alive, all that prior, all that fighting power now available. 5,000 near the gold lead. And it's a massive swing. All in favor of this blue-sided Team Secret Wales. Blackfire Torch there, so it is going to be that build coming through for Dire. Not totally surprising. He's done it in the past. Slow on to Artemis. Eddie has a crazy amount of mobility, and they're going to look to drop this Herald in the mid lane. Feats of strength, of course, having been claimed off the back of the Herald. So those upgraded boots, the tower, about to be slammed in by Shelly. Does just that. They're on the hunt for Artemis. And there you go, equalizer into a choke point. It's a bleak spot, and Artemis, all he can do is turn and fight. give his team that little bit of time to take that top tier, or bottom tier 1 rather. Unfortunately for them, it then turns around and might just, and it will just, result, of course, in a tier 2 through the mid lane. Completely and utterly out macro. Dire comes in off the back of it even. Positioning wise, finds himself a tier 1 in the top lane too. 3 towers for just 1, plus that kill onto Artemis. And Hero very much eating good at the moment. 2 items deep onto Eddie. He's 2,000 gold up, and he had, in fact, every single role, bar support, is up over 1,000 gold on their counterpart. The only one not is Dire, and that's just because he's dead even on 1,000 gold on the money. Oh, Black Cleaver starting to be built here by his don't. Profiting the most from it. Okay, Seeker's Arm Guard, second for Dire, respecting that collapse potential out of this GAM roster as an immobile mage, the Clockwork Sentinel herself. Dire wants his tower, the Clockwork Wind-Up, no plates. Means that it's pretty easy pickings for him, and the minion wave comes in to all but secure it. 4 towers now. GAM looking for 1 in response, but his toe's going to be here. You look at it, Heroes on the backside, equalizes up now. So it would have been a very, very bleak turn of events if they'd found that angle in, because it would have hurt. He would have hurt greatly. Leandri's into a second Haunting Guise. Means that he no longer tickles. Things going down. This dragon up and alive would be second. Forward a command shockwave. Pulls Levi back. Headbutt pulverized. Caught by the Cyclone. But it is going to be the exhaust, and Levi just sits there, takes it, stunned up off the pulverize. And another kill going to Dire. 2, 0, and 3 for himself. His dragon well and truly started up by his dope. And everything, and I mean everything, coming up Team Secret Wales as they have just hit the gas, hit the nos on this aggressive playstyle once again. And what was only a single 1,000 gold lead has quickly capitulated into 1,700 for Dire. And again, Hero up here to catch the wave. The tower will still go down courtesy of Emo with Elio and Artemis here. Unfortunately, I still just don't think that they have an angle in to actually find it. 10,000 damage done by Eddie on this Yunara. More than Hero even, but purely I think because, well, the Rumble has not been involved as many team fights as the Yunara has to date. For something, Farsight Trinket does reveal up on the top side of this rift that maybe there was an angle in. Black Cleaver done everything. It's just such an accelerated game for Team Secret Wales. 6,000 gold up before the 20-minute mark. Elio, a slippery individual, is going to be hard to stick to. His don't coming in, will be seen by the ward. Elio's there. They have support. Scattered Earth would completely ruin it, but his don't, there you go. They get this done, but the redemption coming through. Flag and drag out. Stops Elio on his tracks. Taki's here. They're looking for it. Headbutt pulverize onto Kiai, but I think Team Secret Wales may have bitten off more than they could chew. Command shockwave into the Cataclysm, but they're so far separated from the team. The equalizer's too little too late, and this might be the turnaround. This might be just what GAM were looking for. They take the one. His toe is off the rift in an ambitious invade. Not going to give over all that much, but it gives over something at the very least. Unfortunately, it's Kiai that picks up the kill. You're hungry. You want that gold onto Levi, Emo, Artemis. But it was so ambitious. I mean, you look how far away Eddie is. You look how far away Hero is. Even Diet is well separated. Redemption, flag and drag out, and then Taki makes that call. They're collapsing in the TP to come through, but it's so late. The command shockwave, by the time they get it off, 60% of Hizdo's HP is gone. 700 gold shutdown goes the way of Kiaya. And any chance at a follow-up is just completely neutered. 5 minutes to Baron. Artican live, but that would be a call and a half to make at this stage in the game for either team. Looking for Eddie. They might have found an angle, but the seismic shoves off the money. Eddie transcends. Gets some damage out, gets some healing off. Okay. Interesting. What is that third item going to be for Eddie? Triforce, Black Cleaver. Could be Experimental Hexblade. Potentially. Maybe that's the new build. I mean, it makes a lot of sense for the build. You want that Transcendence up as much as possible. Hero burning out Elio Artican on the cards. TP's coming through. Taki goes deep. Finds a headbutt on Levi to send him wayward. The pulverize as well. He can't get close. They get the Artican. Now they're looking for the follow-up. Kiaya deep in no man's land. Looking for everything. But Levi comes in with a 3-man cyclone. He dies immediately. 2 now for Hero. They've only found Taki. Emo burning. They're looking for anything and everything they can. Triple for the Rumble. Is it going to be 4? No, it's not. The 4th, the final kill, the ace, given over to Eddie, but an absolute rout once again. Team Secret Wales looking to take up the mantle of the old guard and go to Worlds. 14-4 the kill count, 21.5 minutes in. And this is form, this is pacing that we have not seen from Team Secret Wales in a good long while. What an absolute opener. Look at that, Dyer trying to play spoiler. The command shockwave, the dissonance takes Levi down to half HP. Forces him out. Taki comes in with a headbutt. Equalizer to try and cut them off. The Equalizer literally doing nothing in that fight. The quickness only really catching on to Taki, but you gotta respect Kiaya. Call of the Forge got in. They follow it up with that Cyclone, but again, too little too late. All your primary damage dealers have been taken off the Rift, unfortunately. 3 kills for Hero. A shutdown onto Dyer. Yes, goes the way of Kiaya, but again, it's your Ornn. He may be able to upgrade those items just that little bit sooner, but when you're down as much gold as GAM are, there's only so much value you get. And there you go. It is the experimental Hexblade for Eddie. So he is going to be able to cycle that ult pretty darn quickly now. 2.5 minutes to Baron. It feels like there's only so much more that really can be taken. Blue finished off. Dragon 15 out. It would be Soul Point for Team Secret Wales. It'd be second for GAM. So there's not really the highest of value other than potentially as a basing opportunity for Team Secret Wales. There you go, Histo beelining. They've got the lane prio down on the bot side. Going to be picked up pretty cleanly through mid. Items as well. Just coming hard and fast to Team Secret Wales. There you go. Zonya's done now for Dyer. Bloodleader's Curse finished up for Hero. That is going to open up a lot of potential damage for this draft for Team Secret Wales. 2 items for Artemis. Oh, they've got the Weaver's Wall. Equalizer down, but Hero should be dead here. Unfortunately, he might be an absolute monster. Look at how much damage he does back onto both Emo and Levi there. With any sort of support, that could have quite easily been a big turnaround, but not, unfortunately, going to go the way of Hero. Realistically, a drop in the puddle, as it is only kill number 5 for GAM. It does go the way of Emo, though, so you take that. Absolutely. Any gold is good gold at this stage, unless it costs you your base. We'll have to see. Elio looking to try and establish what vision they can. Off the back of that, though, Emo does take that gold lead back by about 200 because of the shutdown they claimed onto Hero, who's now picked up that Seeker's Arm Guard. And unfortunately, in hindsight, it would have been very valuable not to be this time around. Blackfire potentially for Emo being started up. He's got the Ashes. Oh. Warden's Mail. So it is going to be potentially a Randuin's here for Kiai. We'll see if he gets it. That's the main thing. 30 seconds to Baron. Another 4 minutes beyond that to Soul. There has to be a breaking point at somewhere. Vision being cleared. Big damage coming out from Artemis now, though. He does hit, having gotten himself over that hump with the 2-item power spike fully stacked up. Those rockets will start to hurt, especially this one here if he can connect it on Eddie. It's a pretty significant chunk of HP. Baron, now a viable target on the Rift. So macro is going to have to be very important. Hero has the TP, as does Kiaya. Vision clearing from GAM, the name of the game. They want to be able to contest this if the opportunity does present itself. Triforce upgraded there for Artemis. Unfortunately, those ornaments a little bit lacking at the moment as they are just ticking over those levels where he can start to progress through them. Artemis needs to be pumping out that damage, as does Emo. You can see Team Secret Wales have just had the run of the Rift for a good long while now. Gotta wonder if maybe there is just a game 2 angle. Dyer waiting in the rush. Elio's going to be here, but again, has flash, has heal, has many an opportunity to get himself out. His toe, they've found Levi, but they're just going to hold, knowing full well that a better opportunity will present itself. They're beelining towards Artemis. Taki's here. They found an angle in onto the Corki. Valkyrie's through, equalizer in, hit but pulverized. Only connects onto Artemis. It's a very big stack. Where's the command? Shockwave. It's a flag and drag in, out and in. It's all kicking off. Levi can't do much. 2 now for Eddie. He's looking for potentially an angle in for that quadra. Big damage coming back from Emo. Eddie's continuing to wail on. Hero finishes Kiaya. 3 very quick kills in succession. It only cost them Taki, and this likely should be that Baron started up here for Team Secret Wales. And unfortunately, it will be predominantly uncontested, as there is realistically only Emo, I think, with anything of any real veracity to try and deny this. They have a ward on. But yeah, no, Weaver's Wall coming through. All it's going to do is just make it a little bit hectic in the moment. There was no real threat from a Smite fight coming through, and you look at it, they beeline for Artemis. They want him. Levi dashes away. It could have been a 2-man hit, but pulverized. The seismic shove lands, but it's a cataclysm in onto Artemis. Flag and drag out to keep his toe safe. Command Shockwave, I think, does just go wide there. It would have been pixels off the mark onto Artemis. And Eddie, man fighting, thinking he's that guy. Unfortunately not in the face of it. And here on the backside will claim himself yet another kill. An absolutely monstrous rumble. 5-1 and 3, 6-0 and 6 on Eddie as he's working towards that Infinity Edge. That Transcend just getting crazy value right now. Being able to play these team fights so freely, so mobily. And you can see the Baron March down in the bot lane. Has started up. 4 members to the 4 of Team Secret Wales. Hizdo looking for an angle to slow onto Emo. Heroes here as well. Hizdo, whether intentionally or not, misses the flag and drag. I think probably intentionally. That would have been a pretty disastrous jump in with Emo sitting right there and waiting, as well as Levi and Elio. They know they can get this tower redemption through. Keeps Eddie topped up, as well as Dyer. No Taki Hex Flash over the wall, looking to assert some dominance. You can see GAM just hungry for an angle in. The back off, 9 seconds to Soul here for Team Secret Wales, and that likely will be that final nail in the coffin. And you know GAM will want to contest this. They have to contest this. They cannot give it over freely. Kiai on the front lines. Elio's there. Grand entrance onto Hero. Looking for the knock-up, and they will find it. Call of the Forge God coming through. Artemis in the wings. Looking to get it out for the command. Shockwave. Artemis is in shambles. Dragon's taken. That Soul now for Team Secret Wales. Levi first to fall. Looking for Artemis on the backside, and Kiai in the middle of it. Can't even get Hero. He might just be able to finish off the kill, but the headbutt away with an exhaust means that he is denied at the very last second. Eddie pumping away. One of the longest kills I think we've seen a Yunara take to get in this game, in this season. And Team Secret Wales off the back of a very commanding team fight with just Emo and Elio left to hold, will run down that mid lane. 40 seconds of Baron left, and that is going to be all that they need. Looking, waiting, hoping for something, but unfortunately the flag and dragging onto Emo is just going to mean that nothing can be found. Inhib tower number 1 gone. Well, Nexus tower number 1 gone. Command Shockwave onto Elio. Finds the follow-up even onto Emo. And a 21-22 to 6 shellacking for Team Secret Wales, coming in as one of the youngest, most ambitious teams in the competition, up against the old guard at GAM. We knew that this was brewing to be a hectic series, and the VCS representatives do not fail to impress. They return to that form and go for the all-in, brawl-in comp and play to that style, that true to Team Secret Wales style that has found them so much success in times gone by. And you can already see the coaching staff talking game 2, what's the game plan, how do you want to do this? And even pre-fight, it was all blue all the way. You just look at the numbers coming through. A single Drake, a single Grub, and 2 towers, all that were conceded here. It was an absolute manhandling, and I mean, look, it starts like you know, maybe there's a chance that GAM get this one over the line. They do find that opening. Fortunately, it's Elio who has to force the flash in and get that kill to confirm, but all the while, enemy GAM, you can understand why they think this might be the play, but Taki, the hero for the Team Secret Wales team time and time again, headbutt polarized into the flag and drag Cataclysm, means that Levi cannot play that fight at all. And then Eddie, with this Yunara, what we're seeing again, why it is so consistently banned out against these top teams. Another team fight where it looked like maybe GAM had an angle to work with here in these choke points, in these close quarters moments, but Cataclysm onto Emo, command Shockwave to make it even more devastating. Hizzo gets caught by the charm, but it does not matter. He's able to sit there and wail away the Talia. Levi as well, going to be finished off here by Dire. This monstrous Orianna that he was by that stage in the game. And even here, Artemis denied that kill from Hizzo. He's just too slippery, gets himself out, and it is just win after win after win throughout these highlights. And a bold call, was an ambitious call here for Team Secret Wales. That one shout in potentially that might have given them momentum back. They completely commit into this jungle of the side of GAM. But the team's so far separated. Heroes only getting there at the very tail end, the equalizer. Had it been earlier, probably would have made that fight even more disastrous for GAM, but another massive play out of Taki, given his life again and again. Kiaya, three-man call to the Forge God, but it's off the back of his team being completely in shambles. Will get that shut down into Dire eventually, but Hero very much embodying the name. And again, just every single opportunity, this Team Secret Wales roster clicks so cleanly when they are playing at their absolute peak. And we've seen it throughout this year consistently, time after time, match after match. They have the ability to hang with the best here in the LCP, and you'd have to imagine in the world if they get that shot to go to Worlds. Looking to contest, even here, it did not matter. Look at the damage that Dire is doing onto Artemis at that stage. Completely denied the fight. Eddie as well, hitting so incredibly hard, has that experimental hexblade, so as soon as he transcends, is getting even stronger still. Yeah, it does take a while to go down here. Unfortunately, he's a bit of a tanky beast by this stage in the game, but it does not matter in the end. Team Secret Wales with a commanding game one. They handily take it to GAM and put themselves up 1-0 in the series, because it is all about next weekend. That's what they're playing for, of course. We are going to Da Nang next weekend for our live finals. Only 3 teams can go. The winner of tonight will join CFO and PSG Talent and kick the weekend off against Talon to see who joins CFO in that grand final next Saturday. But it is only game one in a best of 5. Of course, there is still the chance that GAM run it back. Going into game 2, it's going to be interesting to see how that draft adapts. Can Archie bring out that GAM magic to help GAM tie out the series, or will Team Secret Wales find themselves on series point? We'll find out very, very soon. See you back after the break.
Working hard to outrun all the ones that chase. I can't run fast enough, can't pick up the pace. People run towards love, kamikaze craze. Let's be real, some true love is really just a face. Heard it all before, y'all just need a score. Don't want it anymore, can't take it no more. Love or I adore, yes and I am sure. Because love is war, over and over, baby.
The blossoms fall, and the black rose rises. Do you feel like the heroes of this story? Coming to save the day. You're pawns in a game that's already been decided. You will fight, as good soldiers do.
I will seal you away once more.
Your age has passed, Darkin. Stay buried.
And you will fail, as mortals must. Your course was doomed the moment you left Demacia. And entered my world of thorns. Make your final stand. And see how your story ends.
With Team Secret Wales coming in with a statement game one. With that spot in Da Nang and Worlds on the line, you've got to wonder, have GAM done their dash? Have Team Secret Wales started to pick up the mantle of the top of the heat when it comes to the BCS? I think if you are like me, you'd say, hell no. GAM has definitely got a lot more to bring in this best of five. Team Secret Wales are not just going to be strolling through for a Worlds spot. It will be a hard, bloody fought road. GAM opting into the blue side here for game two. They took red to start, wanting that counter pick. Now they want the prio. They have had their zen moment here between games. Levi doubling down. He wants that clear head, knowing just what is at stake here. By the end of the night, one of these two teams will have ended their competitive year. The other, essentially, it will only just be beginning. This Team Secret Wales roster returning to a form that has been few and far between. And if they can pull it out just two more times, they will be heading to Worlds to represent the LCP alongside CFO and PSG talent. And this man right here, Captain Levo on your screen, will be the one looking to deny them that chance to help helm this GAM roster to yet another international experience, another Worlds appearance. And we have seen for both these teams the raw emotion that this game that we love brings, whether it be success or failure, or both. Nico and Bessa banned away by GAM to start this second game off. Maokai and Aurora the response. Galio denied from Dire. Yet again, a champion that he has at times been Titanic on. Where do they look? Final man for Team Secret Wales. Do you deny something from Levi Kiaya? Emo. There is just so much up in the pool. What are you the most concerned about? What angle are you looking for in this draft? We're about to find out. Lucian denied away from Artemis down in that bot side for Kiaya. You've still got something on the lines of the Gwen, the Scion. You have Jace. Realistically, anything. It's going to be the Pantheon for Levi. An insanely strong jungle pick. Being able to affect those sidelines, get around the map post 6, and all smiles for the man, Kiaya, the unending smile in this GAM roster. A truly inspirational tile out of the VCS. What is Team Secret Wales' responses here? They've got the 1-2 return. It's going to be the Annie. No Wukong pairing, but you still got something along the lines of a Vi. Barely scary Xin Zhao. Izto, though, historically has been one of the more keen junglers to go towards the likes of the Viego. It's Kiana instead, not banned out in that 6th ban by GAM this time around, so it will be coming through. Not quite the Annie Wukong pairing, but still one that has found more and more effect as we got deeper and deeper into this playoffs bracket. Emo. There are plenty of picks up and available that can look to impact the mid lane. Rise, going to be the response. Dire, one of the first to embrace the Rise in the mid lane, and the LCP 2025 competitive season Civet as well for Artemis. So, I mean, you just look at the macro capabilities of this GAM roster already between the Realm Warp and the Grand Skyfall. The numbers can turn on a dime in those side lanes. So Team Secret Wales are going to have to be pretty on the ball when it comes to their awareness. Kaiser coming through for Eddie. They've got the setup for it. Lots of CC coming out of this Team Secret Wales draft. So plenty of opportunities for Dire Eddie rather, to jump in on the backside, get heavily involved in these very chaotic fights. Brom taken away by this Team Secret Wales roster. I mean, it gets some value, not the most I'd argue, but still enough that it is warranted. What do you want gone from Taki? I mean, realistically, again, the men's champion pool is just bottomless rel taken away. We've seen the Leona out of him in the past. I wouldn't have thought that this necessarily was a Leona angle, but definitely something along the lines of a Nautilus could be the play. On the top side for Kiaya. Not a huge value Gwen game, but Alio's Poppy is in fact going to be denied. I mean, with the mobility of this team, with the lockdown it offers, very, very scary. And there you go. It's going to be Heroes Gwen, in fact, taken away. So likely a Scion angle, I think, for Kiaya up in that top side. He's playing it, or played it rather, pretty darn frequently. Team Secret Wales, I mean, Hero could potentially look to snatch that one away for himself. There's a number of avenues up, and nods coming through. It's going to be the Nautilus for Taki. It's going to be the top lane counter pick here through for Team Secret Wales. Leona. So it is going to be Leona for Elio. Obviously the natural pairing. The Sivir Alistar gone. It's going to be the Sivir Leona instead. And a Scion. There you go. Locked in for Kiaya. What's Hero's answer? Up in that top side. Could go the ranged angle. Something along the lines of a Jace. Again, plenty of play to be had. Mordekaiser, maybe. Just maybe. Probably going to be a rough one. It is going to be locked in anyway. So Mordekaiser for Hero up in the top side. Plenty of targets. I mean, take Elio out of a team fight. That's a lot of CC lacking. Means that Artemis is a much easier target. I really do rate it. Becomes a bit of a bully up in that top side. There you go. Team Secret Wales GAM. The draft is now set. Going into game 2, and by the end of it, Team Secret Wales could be a singular win away from that home crowd in Da Nang next Saturday. But GAM very much hunting, very much wanting to get that for themselves. And like TK Sign said, Kings play this Sunday, aka GAM. For the most part this year, they have been the Kings of the VCS. We'll see if they can ultimately claim that crown for themselves at the conclusion of the VCS gauntlet that has been this lower bracket. VCS Derby continues. Has been some of the most entertaining gameplay that we've seen this year is that VCS matchup repeatedly. The skin game, IG Kaiser coming through. Vestion's going to be very happy. That's in a Pirate Rise. I'm pretty happy with that as well. Leona skin, Crystallis Motus. Not one that I've seen all too often. Usually it's the pool party. Either way, going into it, a very, very solid draft from both teams. But the explosive potential for Team Secret Wales needs to be respected. Not to mention the fact that Hero can just completely remove one of those GAM members from a fight. The crowd again, out in full force. GAM potentially looking for some action here onto Team Secret Wales, but that anti-stun gets a little bit problematic in the early levels. Pentakill Mordekaiser coming through as a strong contender up in that top lane. Hizdo, Hero, gonna be rocking it. Frostfire, Annie, not Panda Annie, a little bit of a blow there. No bias or anything. Vanilla Silver, there were options, there were angles. You could have had anything, Artemis, but no. He went just straight vanilla. Dire on this Annie. He's going to be very, very problematic when it comes to team fight time. First stun goes his way as he connects on the emo, but it's traded back mostly from the minions in the end. It's an alright time farming. Not expecting any crazy fights other than the top side, really. Elio did just throw the Zenith Blade out there. Looking for an angle in, but yeah, this is where the most of the fighting will be happening, but ultimately it's just a wet noodle fight. Oh, they found an angle in onto Artemis. That's cheeky. Forces the heal out. Great little chunk of damage. And of course, it was Taki. He just makes these moments for the team. Time and time and time again. And he's done it here. 2 now hit though for Artemis and Elio. So that ricochet will be up and available. Another hook lands onto Elio. What a shot onto Artemis in the back line. Eddie is literally curving bullets right now as he hits an absolute stunner of a Void Seeker there. But nothing really found. Both Elio and Artemis somewhat low. If Hizdo looks to be lying down, there could be an angle, but you can see Levi is heading up to the top side of his jungle. More than likely, we'll just hit that recall, head back to base, look, come out for his second clear after this blue buff. Really all that much yet. Traditionally finding that top lane matchup, but Kia currently winning it out by a massive margin, but that grasp going to be problematic, and it's GAM opting into the early lane swap. Artemis and Elio having suffered somewhat in this Kaiser Nautilus lane. I think that's a smart call. Taki will continuously look to force the issue. Artemis does not want that. He wants to just happily farm up, get that CS rocking and rolling. Coming to the late game, the crit beast with the ricochets completely ruining what will be GAM's, rather Team Secret Wales team fight, just happily able to hit away at Taki and shred through the team. But Levi here, they're looking for a collapse in onto Hero. Flash surely is going to be gone. Does not get into the brush. What a catch! Has to blow it, but won't, because there's no way out. Artemis with a first blood, a phenomenal read from GAM on the top side of the rift. That lane swap, exactly what they were looking for. What damage though coming out from Emo. Dire just absolutely competent. Clearly not enough time for this Annie spent in PE class, has not been playing as dodgeball. Does not know about sidestepping and how integral it is to this game of League of Legends and dodgeball, ironically enough. at that height, with the disparity between Rise and Annie, that is going to be a full headshot. Unfortunate. Lane states matched. Team Secret Wales, Eddie and Taki going to be up here to join exactly what they're going to be looking for, given how this lane has been going for them so far. Able to bully quite significantly, but with that kill going over, and with that levels state evened out, oh, this could be the angle in. Elio has no flash. What a hook! Taki threading the needle, and he's got nowhere to go. The root connects, and it's going to be a kill going back the way of Team Secret Wales. Playing around those summoners, and the kill score evens out. Eddie taking some big damage from that pouncing blade. What is going on? Artemis in big trouble. The flash forward from Eddie secures himself a second. The boomerang blade hits hard, but not as hard as Taki and that big old anchor. And this is what we've wanted all season finals long, even into the playoffs. That Team Secret Wales aggression. They're doing just that yet again. What a great read. They found that kill onto here on the top side with Captain Levi. Now it's Hizdo's turn. Was looking to recall, but what a hook. This Nautilus champion is completely fraudulent. Minions don't matter. Walls don't matter. He sees an angle. He's going to throw it. And look at the turnaround here. Artemis looking to punch that damage back out onto Eddie. Dredge line lands, rooted up through the passive, and the flash forward as Eddie was fully stacked up for a second kill off the singular play. And that is a drastic situation in a lane that was already very, very rough. Getting even worse. Dyer has dropped the tibbers onto Emo, but you see Levi here on the top side. There is support, but it is, of course, Hizdo doing the dragon. More damage coming out of Eddie. He's an absolute monster. Looking to wreak havoc. Taki heads up to assist. Dragon number one goes over very freely. Real Warp coming in. What a gank. They don't steal the dragon. Hizdo looking to get away. Does have that supreme display of skill. Oh my lord. It's just an absolute ankle breaker. Team Secret Wales narrowly avoiding disaster. It looked like it was going to be the gank of the century here. Off the back of that realm warp, but it just does not land. They're looking for Hizdo, and that allows Taki to pull an Irish exit and just quietly walk off into the night. And all the while, Team Secret Wales finding even more off the back of it. A plate goes the way of a hero. He's had all this time solo in the top lane. And my God, it looked like this was going to be an answer back phenomenally. Realm Warp, all of them coming on in. The dragon still smited away. And then in screams Kaya. And all they get for themselves is a scuttle. Team Secret Wales breathing a sigh of relief. That could have been two very big kills going back the way of GAM, but not to be. Not quite as bloodthirsty as game one, but not for lack of trying, mind you. GAM are trying to find anything and everything that they can on the Rift at the moment. Especially with that momentum that Team Secret Wales had coming out of game one. They want to stall it as best they possibly can. Ultimates starting to come along across the Rift. We saw two of them already used by GAM. On the hunt's not quite there. Supreme display of skill. Death Realm Hizdo up here on the top side looking for Emo. Flash is going to be there. Taki is looking for that dredge line, looking to posture aggressively, but here comes Elliot. Just going to play bodyguard. Keep this Rise safe for the moment, even with just a catalyst and a tier. Does hit very hard if given the space to. Levi. Grub's being started here. He wants to look in, has that Grand Skyfall. No Realm Warp just yet, no Solar Flare either, so it might just be given over, unfortunately. One taken, second started up on well and truly progressed through. Hizdo still has that smite. He's going to hold it, even doesn't need to waste it. Levi, Elio come in, will get their one. But unfortunately, that's all they're given. Could have been an angle where Hizdo sticks around, but two grubs plus that dragon, 2 points in defeats of slaying Taki and Eddie just holding this wave just a little bit longer to give it a favorable state. Hizdo sitting deep back in the lane. Emo's here, as is Elio. I really don't imagine that Hizdo would want to fight. No depth charge either. If Taki takes over to 6, which he does, they could be an angle for it. By here in the river. Yeah, I think that would have been a bit of a rough turnaround, as that Grand Skyfall could have come in on top and, again, turned the tides on that fight pretty drastically. Killer Instinct could be tangled in with this Annie at any point, really. So again, both teams have that ability to just shift the numbers in a fight at any given moment. So it needs to be respected, and I think they are doing that pretty well. Again, just a lot of macro players, a lot of lane swaps coming through. 90 seconds till Dragon number 2 as we cross the 10-minute mark. There isn't a heck of a lot up at the moment. Hisdo in through mid. Flash Tibbers, they've got the root off as well. Supreme display of skill over the wall. Emo, will he fall? They are taken away, but the heal through from Elio just keeps him alive. A miracle play from the support of GAM. Just absolutely on the money with his timing. Keeps his mid laner alive. Denies that gold into the pockets of Team Secret Wales. They are playing very, very cautiously. Dragon in a minute, it's just that vision control. TPs from both mid laners down to the spot lane. They want that prio. Give themselves and their team that freedom to take to that second Dragon on the Rift. Gaia and Hero battling it out. Haunting guys is going to be there. So it's no small amount of damage that Hero does at this point. Sundered Sky up for Levi. So he is going to be a little bit harder to finish off in these fights. Between that shield and the Sundered Sky. And oh my lord, he's doing it again. Hero just wailing away. Decimating Smash. Does get some decent damage back. And that grass prop for Gaia. Going to be sitting quite happy with. But at least for the moment, it is going to be a bit of a rough one. And this Mordekaiser will batter and bruise that Scion pretty consistently. You can see GAM know full well what they're looking for. It is the Dragon. They want to be able to contest this, stop the stacking. Guarantee that the game gets drawn out just a little bit longer. They have not got the deepest line of vision. In fact, it's pretty much even all the way up the river. Taki wants to be there to play spoiler, deny any sort of entrance in, but Elio, Levi looking there. Hisdo with a great little route up onto Levi, denies him that progress forward. Well, not necessarily the instigator. Elio's very, very capable of that in a pinch. Being the one you want at the front, taking some of that damage. Hisdo takes the crab. That's even more vision and control over this river. You can see just how tentatively GAM are approaching this right now. The Death Brush strategy might just be the opening they're looking for. Unfortunately, it looks less than likely at this stage. Oh, they have every idea about Team Secret GAM's positioning on the Rift. So much so that Hero is now proxying Gaia. Looking for something in the mid lane. Oh, the collapse coming through. It's in fact Team Secret Wales that are the ones looking for it. Supreme display of skill, connecting. They found an angle onto Emo. Deep on in. And Eddie's going to find himself the feat of warfare. Team Secret Wales looking for that Dragon as well. It would be the feats of strength entirely off the back of that play. And that is phenomenal stuff. Absolutely reading GAM's positioning on the Rift, and maybe a little bit of hesitation out of the side allows Team Secret Wales to get as much progress as they've had. Just screaming on in with a Killer Instinct. You watch it here. Emo just caught out well on vision, and Hisdo spotted on the ward. Realm Warp denied. The Supreme display of skill doesn't even connect. It's the root coming out instead. Followed up by that Killer Instinct means that they've got that overmatch. A very rough situation for Emo. But far from the end of the world. The Untals finished up here for Artemis. Not the build we have seen most recently. Usually it's that Essence Reaver into the Flicker Blades, but one that is arguably going to be hitting plenty hard. Going into later stages, Emo looking for the root. Grand Skyfall. Oh, this is disastrous as Hisdo and Taki are here. Depth charge in, Tibbers as well. And GAM were looking for something. They were looking for an out and angle to try and get some gold secured back in the pocket, but it is well read by Dyer and Team Secret Wales. He sits there as bait with Hisdo and Taki in the wings, and the Grand Skyfall is a great fall indeed. Oh, this is a rough spot. for GAM at the minute. 37 seconds to Herald, so at least Levi will be up and available. Pretty low respawn timers at the moment, but you look at the state of the Rift. 3 of those kills in the pocket of Eddie. This Kaiser is far from where you want that gold invested, and oh, what a read it was. Dyer knew that he was the perfect bait here. Just a little bit overextended, and a dredge line lands onto Levi, followed up by the depth charge and a Tibbers. And unfortunately, as quick as he appears on the screen, he is then taken off. Lane Pro going to be hotly contested here. Eddie walks on up, gets that attack off Levi. Now it's GAM with the positioning. They've got all but Artemis here, and he's pretty darn close in response to the Herald. I think might just be given over here. Histo does have that supreme display of skill. He wants to fire it off. Great little pit to use it, but holds off for the moment. And the farm alarm goes off. Might be the building alarm at this point. Looks like the building is about to collapse down on that bottom side. Told to vacate the building. Alarm goes off, gets in. Here's the building warden. Guy comes in, we'll catch it. The Hextech Soul coming through. All these teleporters, a lot more mobility around the Rift. These pit fights get a little bit more concerning, especially with Hisdo doing as well as he is right now. Hero. This Medic Smash doesn't even cut through the shield, unfortunately. Has that Hollow Radiance Kiaya. So we'll be clearing out these waves pretty consistently. The Rift Maker there for Hero now. Oh, Elio, who's he going to spot? I don't know if he actually got the vision down to know who it was, but knew that someone was coming through at the very least. You can just see how hesitant they are to step out. You'd think that with that response in the Grand Skyfall, it is just on cooldown at the moment. They're going to drop that Herald mid lane. TP's coming through. Dyer looking to get in here and respond. It's not going to be enough to crack the tower, but it's some decent damage. And Dyer, unfortunately, gets stuck on Shelly there. So they will save the tower for the moment. Denying any further progress. Hisdo. Again, there's just so many looks, but no real opportunities opening off the back of it. Artemis will just perpetually clear that wave. Oh, what happened here? Oh, is this just... Yeah, okay. Boomerang Blade. Oh, big damage. Redemption. Big damage. Flashed away. So no flash on Eddie. And yeah, we're seeing the suffering without that Essence Reaver. Artemis is struggling for that mana. No longer has the luxury of the Spell Shield to get it back for himself. Can't just tank abilities. Eddie. Gwinsu's now done on top of the Kraken Slayer. So really coming into his own on this Kaiser. Dragon 25 out and Team Secret Wales again. Not the deepest of vision lines, but at least in terms of lane pro, they are finding a lot of success, of course. Oh, root on to Elio. Hisdo with the fade away. This battle over vision continues. The full 5 stack of GAM is going to be here. Concern being is they just might have ignored Kiaya. And like, look to fight everyone else. You look at it, Hero. Collapse it on the top side of that river. Full 5 stack here at Team Secret Wales. If they look for an angle in, Dyer has the stun ready. With Tibbers prepped and keen to go. Decimating Smash on a Hero. The hook does land, but the Solar Flare's well up the money. Supreme Display of Skill catches 2. Grand Skyfall in onto his toe. He's in a bit of trouble. The Redemption keeps him alive. He will fall, but it's 2 for 1 at the moment. Artemis in a world of hurt in the Death Realm, being chased by Hero. They find more. Dyer gets himself the double, and the big beefy Scion can do naught but run. Unfortunately, without that damage profile backing him up, he is only meat. And another phenomenal fight from Team Secret Wales, where they take a commanding position in this lower bracket semi-dragon. Number 3, well in hand. Hisdo may have fallen, but Smite completely unneeded. Soul Point now secured, and you'll look at it. Team Secret Wales knew exactly what they were doing here. They were well happy to take this fight. Hero tanks up that Decimating Smash, Solar Flare off the money, Supreme Display of Skill, clips 2 with the Tibbers on top. And unfortunately, by the time that Captain Levi gets in, exhausted and completely chewed down, it is too little too late, as they have found everything that they are looking for a 1-for-4 trade. An absolute elation in the back rooms there for Team Secret Wales, justifiably so. And as we return to live, Histo has been found locked down and reverted to the grey screen. The power of a Leona. Solar Flare lands, and the follow-up is pretty much just all there. Taki finds himself Levi in the jungle, but has Eddie in support. That's a lot of damage coming out. Realm Warp in. It's going to be a collapse from GAM. Do they have the angle? No flash here from Eddie on the hunt. Oh, big damage back onto Captain Levi. Taki flashes away. Can they finish? Eddie, here comes the Scion. Too little, too late. Artemis has been absolutely eaten. What a dredge line lands on in. Drags Elio back into the fight, and here's Hero. Absolutely monstrous. And it's to the death realm for the poor Leona. Another full wipe from Team Secret Wales, bar the Scion. And he falls soon after, only temporarily. Holds on into the ace from Team Secret Wales, only conceding their bot lane duo for their efforts. And everything continues to roll their way. The momentum is entirely theirs in this second game. They take everything and more. 3 minutes till that soul, and oh boy, you're looking at Histo. Just completely pinched here. Looking to run forward with an angle onto Artemis. Does some great damage, but runs straight into that slow from the Solar Flare, into his Zenith Blade, and the follow-up stun. And all this chaos that ensues off the back of it. Levi hungrily looking, the Realm Warp comes in, but it is about to screen away. Redemption stacked. Eddie finds Levi, and Taki gets himself clear. Eddie absolutely breaks Kiaya's ankles, finds the angle into the backside off the ult onto Artemis. Stays alive for a good long while, pumping out the damage, and unfortunately for them, Hero's arrived. Hero, I say that, he's just gone down, but at the cost of the Artican. Picked up by Team Secret Wales for their Mordecai as the top lane. I think you take that all day, every day. GAM will look to try and capitulate, find themselves this mid-tier 1 with the objective bounty to boot. So a nice influx of cash onto Artemis, who now has his Flicker Blades to boot. Oh, slowed, jumped on, everything in the kitchen sink thrown. Just easy finished, and he gives his life for the team to secure the objective. Well worth it. He's still chugging along nicely, can still play his part when it comes team fight time. 13-6, about a 3,000 gold lead. And a soul that is less than a minute and 20 away. Eddie again, just rampaging ahead. Just breaking ankles upon ankles there. You gotta wonder, is there an angle for GAM back into this series? Because it's looking less and less likely. But it could be. It's still a best of 5 at the end of the day. 3 games are not the be-all and end-all. A reverse sweep happens often in esports. Seen it a number of times here in the LCP even. Elio, there's the Solar Flare. Running towards Eddie, but it's just getting themselves in position to start this vision. 30 seconds to the Dragon. It's now about stopping the stacking. Still in the backside of the pit. Gonna get some damage out. Kiaya is just gonna eat it on the chin with that shield. Has a second item, the Unending Despair is very tanky. Histo's been found. It's a great angle, but the ultimate into the Tibbers. It's a huge turnaround from the Whales. They find 1, find 2, and it's an absolute rout of a team fight. You thought for sure that was GAM finding the opening they needed, but it's not. It's a 1-4-4 right now. And soon to be a 1-for-5 is Elio fighting for his life in the cage. Unfortunately, he is woefully unprepared. This is a big, bad Mordekaiser, the second ace in a row, but just Histo. They will take themselves a tower. They will take themselves Soul. And one more game like this, they will take themselves a spot at Worlds 2025. The macro play, the team fight, the coordination has been impeccable. GAM surely have Histo here dead to rights. 3 of them on, but he somehow gets the ult off into a Tibbers, into that killer instinct from Eddie. He comes screaming across your screen to absolutely slam that final nail home, and then Hero does what every top laner does and chases down a poor support. Dyer caught in that picture-in-picture. Was a little bit greedy for the tier 2 on the bot side. Punished because of it. He still gets himself to realize though it is done and all finished up in the inventory. Oh, okay. The Void Seeker connecting onto Elio. That Hextech Soul. Nice little bit of chip damage, but the Baron is up and alive, and this is a dangerous spot to be fighting. Supreme display up and available. It's going to be GAM ripping that band-aid early. But Team Secret Wales in a great position to potentially fight it here. They're looking for an angle on the side. Here comes Histo from the top side. They're kicking it off. The Death Realm goes on to Levi, takes him out of it. Elio well deep, and the damage not coming through. Histo evaporates Artemis, and then Eddie compounds. Finds himself a double, make it a triple as Hero claims the final. A back-to-back-to-back ace for the Whales as they return true to form, that hyper-aggressive VCS monster. 25 minutes in with some change. They're going to take that tier 2 in the mid lane. They were thinking maybe we don't need the Baron. But at this stage in the game, the respawn timers are fairly low. They will need the Baron, and they're going to go back for it. Histo playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse here with Nashra himself. Leaves Eddie and Taki to it. This monstrous Kai'Sa with the Terminus even in the inventory will finish it up in a full 5-stacked Baron roster. Tower down on the top side. Eddie putting it to use early. And you look at it, they had a 5v3 on this bot side, but Levi gets completely taken out, which means there's no follow-up CC onto Eddie. The Supreme display of skill doesn't actually connect onto the wall. It's just the root off the back of it into a Tibbers. And from there, Team Secret Wales pretty cleanly mop it up. Dyer getting in, really didn't do all that much other than show up to the party and enjoy the snacks. But finds himself the tier 2 on that top side. Every single member of this Team Secret Wales roster firing on all cylinders. Another absolute manhandling of a game. 23-8. Every objective has gone their way bar a single grub and a single tower. Emo up on the top side. Might look to change it, but you see how healthy that top tier 1 is in fact. Everything just coming together. Kaya eats that Void Seeker even, and they're going to siege down this tier 3. His Boomerang Blade starting to hurt. Solar Flare onto Eddie. Pops that cleanse to get away with the Redemption, just to keep themselves nice and healthy, and all the while Hero pounding away in the mid lane. Jumped on by Levi, but look at that damage. Takes him to the Death Realm, and Pantheon running, scattering for his life. Hero is well isolated. The collapse could come as the Death Realm ends. Looking in, the Supreme display of skill again. Eddie comes running on in. Eats himself 2 and a back-to-back ace as everything has just been taken away right before GAM's eyes. And poor Tibbers gonna be the one to tank up this tower initially as the wave comes on in. Histo drops the ultimate for style points, and Team Secret Wales are a singular victory away from Worlds. Massive moves. This is the Team Secret Wales that we got early on in the mid-season. A team that completely dominated the regular season. There was just no competition outside of CFO. No one could stand toe-to-toe with them. But every time they hit playoffs, something shifted. Something happened. And all that power, all that menace completely collapsed. They are here now in the most important playoffs of the year, primed and ready. A singular game win away from Worlds 2025. And you look at it, the scoreboard, the stats are bleak for GAM. and backs against the wall in this break. They must come up with something, and I don't know what you can do when Taki is hitting shots like this. A great jump in onto Elio with the dredge line. They then follow it up with a catch onto Artemis as well. He just walks up, throws the hook. Unfortunately, Flash gonna do nothing for Artemis there as he just falls in the face of Eddie. And again, they just found these magical catches. Realm Warp denied there, his toe. Just completely running the rift on this Kiana. And Taki, my lord. I don't know, even if you commit all 5 bans away from him, I don't think you're gonna take him off a champion that has effect. He is just an absolute beast of a support. This Nautilus, so much value. Dredge line, supreme display of skill to this, just CC upon CC upon CC. And it's just nothing in the face that GAM can do of this overwhelming Team Secret roster who have fought bitterly to get themselves to this point throughout the year. I mean, even when it looks like a decent shout-in, it's just not enough. You look at it, you think, oh yeah, GAM have managed to catch Eddie and Taki out, and Taki will actually fall in the end, but look, boom, Killer Instinct denies the ultimate away from Kiai, gets in, dumps everything onto Artemis, and blows him up. Will fall eventually to Emo, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the team is now here to mop things up. Emo falls. Dire and Hero just run him over to here. They have Hizdo dead to rights. They drop everything, but in that split millisecond, gets the ult off. Tibbers comes down from Dire to follow up, and the Killer Instinct comes screaming on in into what was some of the most dominant play we've seen from the Whales all year. And again, they pull that trigger. You think GAM maybe has the angle in, but that Death Realm denies the follow-up onto Eddie in the backline. And they just rout the fight. Killer Instinct keeps Eddie in that active position to pump out the damage. And even here, Hero, you think, oh, he maybe has gone a little bit deep here. Death Realm, the entirety of GAM stacking it around him. But that Void Seeker connects, the supreme display of skill set up, and Eddie rockets into the back line, finds himself anything and everything he could. And what was the 4th in a row ace that Team Secret Whales were able to secure, set themselves up now for a storied lower bracket run that would end in a Worlds appearance. 1 game is all that separates them. GAM now have to run it back if they want to deny that opportunity from them. Game 3 could be the last game of the evening, or the first if you're a GAM fan. It could be what sets them up for that reverse sweep and takes them all the way to Worlds. When we come back after the break, we'll find out. Is it going to be the young guns on the scene taking it, or will the old guard hold fast and deny them that Worlds appearance? We'll see you back soon.
Working hard to outrun all the ones that chase. I can't run fast enough, can't pick up the pace. People run towards love, kamikaze craze. Let's be real, some true love is really just a face. Heard it all before, y'all just need a score. Don't want it anymore, can't take it no more. Love or I adore, yes and I am sure. Because love is more.
The blossoms fall, and the black rose rises. Do you feel like the heroes of this story? Coming to save the day. You're pawns in a game that's already been decided. You will fight, as good soldiers do.
I will seal you away once more.
Your age has passed, Darkin. Stay buried.
And you will fail, as mortals must. Your course was doomed the moment you left Demacia. And entered my world of thorns. Make your final stand. And see how your story ends.
On the cusp of Worlds qualification, Team Secret Wales set 2-0 up on GAM. And a last-minute substitution, RS, coming in the mid lane, replacing Emo in Game 3 in a red side selection to boot. It's a rough spot for them to find themselves in, for sure. But one that I can guarantee you, much like my usual co-cast, did not expect to find themselves in this weekend. But it is far from over. There is still potentially 3 more games to be played in this series. GAM have the opportunity to run it back, reverse sweep out Team Secret Wales and take that spot for themselves. But Team Secret Wales have not eased up on that gas pedal once tonight. They find a lead, they expound upon it, and largely off the shoulders of this man on your screen right now, this Taki guy is something else. On the Alistar, on the Nautilus, he has completely ruined GAM Esports Day, and he will look to do it yet again here in Game 3. You can see a lot of talk going into draft. So far, a lot of champions gone. A lot of those power picks as well. Aurora, Azir, banned away from Dire. Likely that third ban could be something along the lines of a Galio, Nico, Maokai, the response trying to weaken a potential Yone pick in the mid lane, which would be a pretty strong pickup for RS potentially, as they look to try and shift things. The jungle, Vison's out, still untouched. So there are strong picks in the Poppy away from either Levi or Elio. What is it? It has to be a Galio, surely. Barring some sort of prep that GAM has done. You'd imagine a bit of a yawn there from Dire. It's not even that late there. And it's just crossing 11 o'clock, so it must be what, nearly 7 p.m. Taipei and Nocturne denied away from his dose. So Dyer does have that Galio of his. Not necessarily something you want to pick in the first phase. Gives them a lot of power in response, but Vi locked in for his dough, was let through. For Levi, you've got the Xin Zhao. Could go back to something along the lines of his Z. Probably not in this game, but in the subsequent ones, there is definitely an angle for it. What do they want? Gwen available. He's banned out pretty consistently. Jace up in that top lane. Cassante. Galio going to be locked in for GAM this time. So somewhat of a gauntlet laid down. Wanting to deny that away. Xin Zhao and the Galio picked up. So, big circle theory comp coming out from GAM already. How do they look to round it out? Team Secret Wales. Ari Vi has been a pretty consistently strong combo, and Dyer plays it pretty strongly. Hero. The Renekton pick. Potentially blind. Obviously, it could be a Galio for Kaya in the top lane. I think more than likely this is just a blind Renekton. It's pretty safe. Does reasonably well. Doesn't suffer all that much. And Swain, the Hongq counter. Picked here for Dyer. I mean, Hongq has pretty consistently played this Swain champion into the Galio mid lane to insane effect. And then so Dyer gonna take a page out of another young mid laner's playbook and look for that angle. Now, in saying that, this could be a flex pick. This could be an Elio Galio in the bot lane paired with Artemis. We'll have to see. Final pick is Cassante up on the top side under the Renekton. Does reasonably well. Zeri banned from Eddie. Lucian Nami, Lucian Prom still available. With 3 melee champions from GAM, I would imagine it's a pretty safe ban if they want to go that route. This is definitely the sort of matchup you want to be coming into, hopefully. It goes a little bit deeper than just the 3-0. I'd love to see GAM really bounce back, but it is overwhelming the control that Team Secret Wales has had on this series so far. Caitlyn denied from Artemis. You remember, back in the mid-season, they picked it Game 5 to knock PSG Talent out of the lower bracket finals and secure themselves a spot at MSI. The Brom value is pretty high here for GAM. It's going to be a Smolder instead. More worried about the bot laners than they are about supports. Artemis, I mean, he's had a crazy deep champion pool this year. He's pulled out all sorts. Brom, denying it away from GAM, in fact. Still plenty of value to be found. Renekton on a Vi. Absolutely going to get its money's worth there if it had been. But Rel taken for Elio. So it will be Galio in the mid lane. But so far, Circle Theory is stacking up. Team Secret Wales, what is the call? What is the plan? There are a lot of tanks here. There's going to be a lot of HP to get through. You want a bot laner that is going to be able to contribute and not get collapsed on. So Xayah, a little bit of safety there, and the Renata to pair with it, something that has been a little bit absent here in that season finals. But for Taki, just another day on the job. He absolutely thrives. And Lucian route is going to be the call. Not sure I'm absolutely sold, but has that mobility. It's going to offer a lot to Artemis, who is a very, very fanciful player. Or at least it's not a Jhin. That's all I can say. But you look at it, it's a very, very beefy lineup for GAM. Eddie has got a pretty tall task on his hands. Luckily, he's got Dyer and Taki, who will make this go forward comp from GAM just that little bit harder. Hard to say who outright wins, especially when GAM have just not been able to match pace with Team Secret Wales. We'll see if RS coming in is going to be that difference maker for the team. their light in the darkness, that shining star that could bring them back to life here. As the coaches walk off the stage, for Archie, it could very well be the last time this competitive season. See, GAM fighting, you'd hope so. This is truly that make or break point. There is no second chances from this point on for GAM. If they fall here, it is all over. Team Secret Wales, they book themselves that spot in Da Nang and then into China for Worlds. And the crowd still in very high spirits. Okay. Hopefully the Da Nang crowd can match. I'm expecting an absolutely fanatical fan base is what I'm told. So it should make for a great time. Early trading to be expected. Both these teams not ones to shy away from a fight, but certainly Team Secret Wales have been the ones to just absolutely manhandle those fights. As the game has progressed, Eddie with a great sidestep avoids the crash down from Elio, and they get some solid damage. On to Artemis to start things off. Nice little bit of chip. Ward still going to be there for both teams in that middle brush. Those feathers start to stag up. Junglers on intersecting paths. For Levi will be heading top side. For Histo will be looking to come down to the bot side. You imagine, or you'd like to imagine, there's not going to be a huge amount of kill threat in any of these particular lanes, but the fighting has been nigh on non-stop. Kiaya hits 2 first, but only by a millisecond, and Hero will come out on top. That brief little skirmish. Elio again, looking for that angle as Artemis and he take over to 2 first. GAM desperately wanting to establish any sort of advantage for themselves. Call back there from Taki. No, rather Eddie. Doesn't land on Artemis. Damage they were hoping for. See Histo now on the bot side. He's going to be carrying on through. Taki getting a bit of chip damage and oh, the handshake even. Artemis now down to half HP. Yeah, just sits up, smacks him. Training continues up on that top side as Kiaya and Hero somewhat even out, but you can see Levi is up on this top side. There is a ward in the tri-brush. Iris and Dyer again. Every single lane getting pretty darn scrappy. That is what we've definitely come to expect out of the VCS. Elio roaming into the river, just trying to get eyes on, looking for that recall. Again, you just look at the line of vision from Team Secret Wales already. Lane swap immediately initiated. Kiaya TP's down onto the bot side. Some solid timing there. Iris taking some big damage, and Taki and Histo looking to play cutoff. Elio's in big trouble. Needs to hit that crash down with the flash through from Histo. Looks like maybe, just maybe, Elio gets out and will. Has to utilize the flash to do it, but gets himself out and nonetheless avoids giving a kill over. That is exactly what could have been a bit of a tipping point in these early games. Team Secret Wales showing pretty consistently they're happy to look for these fights early. So GAM have to keep their heads on a swivel, otherwise it's bound to be taken clean off. Hero jumps on in. That Cullen gets slammed into the wall, and Kiaya ultimately comes out on top. Levi jumps on through, gets rooted up by Eddie. Spams the emote. And it was a pretty flashy play, all things considered, but they will get the flash out of him. And it looked like a great shout, and he was on a ward the entire time. Elio sniffs something out, but it's the flash vault breaker from Histo. The crash now allows them to get away. Flash is out of the handshake. Most likely could have been a bit of a death sentence, so narrowly avoided disaster. Again, the skirmishing continues up on the top side, but Artemis has no mana, and with Histo beelining up, spotted, courtesy of that crab, it will mean that GAM need to back off for the time being. So, Main States, pretty even all said and done. Some tentative leads across the board for the Whales. Oh, just more and more of these stacks for Dire. This is why Hongq loves playing the Swain into this Galio matchup. Bit rough to blind it that early. Hero has the dominance now. Might look for a bit of a harass onto Kiai. Will slice and dices away and takes more damage than he healed. He's quite happy for that at the moment. Every little bit of chip damage is good onto Kiai. Unfortunately, ultimate is now there for him. So in terms of that training power, it's a little bit dicey. Slicing dicey, we'll see. First to hit 6 across the rift is both the top laners. Dire and Ares not quite there themselves. That hero's entrance can look to shift things just that little bit, and there you go. Ares ticks on over. Have the ability to impact things from a slightly longer range than Dire, who now has his ult up to boot. Levi here, just clearing out the control wards. Dire with his might look to try and find something onto him, but with Elio, and they get a great Justice Punch onto Dire. Just trying to make it as uncomfortable as possible. They are spoiling for a fight. Crash down in. Dire pops the ult, but so does Ares. They collapse in onto Hisdo, looking for more. The handshake there, no hostile takeover. Great damage onto the Galio. The exhaust coming out as well. They are desperately trying to finish off Dire, but that leech damage is just so great from this Swain. Elio trying to duck out, but gets rooted up. Finished off by Dire as the ultimate pops. So a 1-for-1 in the end, but they do get Hisdo, only losing out on Elio. That very much a worthwhile trade for GAM. Unfortunately, nothing of substance able to be found on the rift off the back of him going. Dragon is alive, but not really one that you're looking for. It was a great play there onto Hisdo. The hero's entrance just absolutely ruining Hisdo's opportunity to get out with that bolt breaker as well. But look at the damage coming out of Dire. This is why Swain is such a strong pick into these melee champions. A lot of power that he's able to build up. Again, one of those very niche situations, the Ascension. Just very hard to play into these short-range champions. But with Artemis picking up that kill, could look to be that point of strength that they were hoping for. Elio interrupts both the recalls for Eddie and Taki, but Featherstorm there, so is the culling from Artemis. Oh, and just being an absolute problem is Elio. Does get the stall out from Taki, but not Eddie. Cease and assist is going to be available there. And Picking a Desire denies that away from Artemis. So again, Team Secret Whales just continuing to draft these really heads-up comps. Kiai, how much is he going to be able to find going to the late stages? Grubs started up again. Started up for the first time this game, rather. And Hisdo takes the first, holds the smite, so likely we'll be able to find 2, and there's just nothing for Levi as he's on his red buff even. So Hisdo will give up grub number 3. He was thinking about it potentially. They were hoping that Ares would show his face in the mid lane, but no. And it's not going to be the Hollowed Radiance build. I think that's pretty smart given that the majority of the magic damage coming out is from Dire. So you're not getting all that much value out of it. Everything else is predominantly physical. Right, just going to tag up the dragon, pull it out of that pit. But you can see Hisdo is here, as is Taki. Drops that ward over the wall to keep vision up. But again, I think Hisdo maybe a little bit less willing, but he's just going to finish off his red buff. Dire's going to be here to collapse it on the bot side from Hero. Levi jumps on in, crash down as well. Artemis comes through, looking for damage on, but look at it coming through. Cease and desist comes out onto Levi. He falls to Hero. Great taunt from Ares, but the damage is very much lagging. Kiaya goes in on Taki. Artemis and Elio having to run for their lives, but the flash is not good. Feats of strength claimed, and all they get back for themselves is the kill on Tataki yet again. Team Secret Wales coming out with just slightly better positioning, and Hero straight back to base, straight back up to the top lane. And a bleak look in, at least in the early game. There is still potential. They've just got to weather that early storm. Team fighting wise, GAM's comp is not the worst. A little bit lacking in damage compared to Team Secret Wales, but with this more AP focused Galio, maybe that tipping point. And it was just, yeah, the collapse was so clean. Levi takes so much damage. Hero comes in, cleans him up, having zoned out Artemis and Ares. All he can do is get that taunt off, run for his life, and poor Taki just gets completely bullied by top laner again. This top lane on support violence continues. Dragon was not taken in the end by Team Secret Wales. Allows GAM to walk back and take it for themselves. Hero looking to proxy up in the top lane. Going to be somewhat suffering. That Bramble Vest in the inventory for Kiaya. Chemtech second. Be interesting to see what soul we end up with. Still, that singular grub in the pit. Just left onto its own again for another game. But every single lane holding a lead for the minute. That lead expanding in the bot lane. 500 gold now. Ares has not had the chance to go and pick up his next component. Oh boy. That Rylai's very problematic. Slows coming through. Yeah, Ares picks up all three those caster minions. But look at the wave clear from Dire. It's very, very quick. He's going to be able to take some big prio. TP coming out. It's going to be Taki back on the Rift. Yuntals. Wild Arrow is now done for Eddie. Start hitting harder and harder as he stacks on through. And speaking of stacks, Dire with 21 now to his name. Kiaya, we're going to get aggressive onto Hero. Does miss the Q3. So doesn't get the knock back onto Hero. The game for the moment. Oh, the handshake out onto Elio. Crash down will get him away. There's that Magnet Storm as well. They're holding that cease and desist for a more viable target. Levi knows that his bush is clear. Cease and desist. An option, but Vault Breaker goes backwards instead. It's just going to be the blue steel. Levi not wanting to give his life over for that Rod of Ages as well. And Virus, so they are going to start building themselves. Going to the later stages of this, or mid portion of this game, out of that laning phase. Oh, Q3. Oh, Kiaya. Just a little bit off the money there. Now it's the TP from Dire coming back in. Oh, they're running into Ares. The taunt is going to be onto two. Levi's there. That's a great cease and desist onto Elio, but it's the wrong angle. The bailout likely not going to find much of anything. So Ares will claim that kill for himself, and Levi still here as the demonic ascension is continuing to burn through. With that Rylai's makes it a very, very hard chase down at Pobs. They're going to look to collapse in onto Dire. Can they find it? He has the flash to get over the wall, and he will. But Levi is going to be able to chase. Drops the crescent sweep. Can he finish? Dire with the Rylai's is not enough. Doesn't have the boots, and all the while the solo bolo in the top lane. Kiaya finally gets that croc. He's been looking for a new belt and some new boots. And Kazante gonna be making a fashion statement. Last scrub gonna go the way of Levi as he wanders into that pit, finds it on its lonesome. And GAM finds some real momentum here. The lead for the first time going their way this series even. That's a brilliant pickup. You look at how this fight starts off. Ares coming in from the bot side, sees the TP through from Dire and his toe. Lands the taunt onto two. The cease and desist goes out onto Elio, but no damage to that Rel. The bailout cannot hold his toe alive for long enough as it's just flashed away by Ares. And look at Dire, lacking that lockdown, lacking that damage, lacking the confidence. They would just collapse in on him. Their allies helping at least, but unfortunately Levi did connect. And is able to jump over, finishes him off. And oh, yeah, you'd think for sure Hero's in a great spot here, but the all out just dropped. Immediately, Dominus only going to do so much in this situation. The Q3 finally lands, and Kiaya just skins Hero alive. Absolute brutality. 5 to 3, 30 seconds off that Herald spawning the 15-minute mark, another minute from Dragon number 2. So it is going to be a slightly slower Dragon stacking game. The gold is net even across the board. Leads pretty much evened out. But Kiaya has become a monster. Oh, Hero, yeah, just doesn't want to borrow it. Oh, he's in a world of trouble because Levi is here. Dominus there, as is the Flash and the Teleport, so they're going to collapse in onto this Renekton. Unfortunately, Dominus popped, but what are you going to be able to do? Redemption, he actually dashes out of it even. Where's the support? The Flash coming over. Levi's going to be able to chase down now. Can they get the knock up? No. They may have just missed out. Jumps on through, but the Slice and Dice looking for more. The slow still coming through. Meek, but the tower there might just be it. No, they get the stun off. The all out even. And they are just going to chase Kiaya to his tower. He gets one back. Oh, no. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 with the Herald claimed off the back of it. A little bit of an overstep from GAM. Unfortunately, the stun coming through means that Levi's got nowhere to go. Tower in the top lane. Tier 1 does go down, and with it the feats of strength. Dragon taken here by Artemis and Elio. And the Herald, oh, they're looking for the tier 2 on the top side. They're all stacked up, ready to go. And Elio knows that he's got to get out and join the party. So 2 towers taken, a dragon, a tower, and a kill traded in response. But that's a lot of gold in the pockets of Eddie. I really do hope we get that replay back because it was such a clean stun from Hero. Flicker Blades there for Eddie. 2 items, just the 1 and a bit for Artemis. Should be able to recall here and spend some of that gold as he ticks on over to 11. Oblivion Orb second. Far is a bit rough. They need some heal cut for Dire. There you go, Flicker Blades as well. So matching pace pretty well. Stands GAM in a much better spot than they have been. Having that dragon stacking to lean on potentially as the game progresses. But with the contest capabilities from Team Secret Wales, they should be able to match pacing pretty well. 3 kills onto your Cassante is far from the ideal. Means that he is going to be a real problem to deal with. Unfortunately, there's a lot of lockdown, a lot of kite, especially out of Dire. Having that Rylai's is really just not going to be able to stick to this Swain at all. It's going to need to be RS that finds that CC pretty consistently if they want to finish off the Swain, because he does also have 1 of the 2 heal cut items. 1,000 gold down off that top push. Getting themselves a lot off the back of the Herald. Dire spotted on a ward. Fortunately, a known quantity. Not that there was much kill threat for the Swain yet. You can see Hizdo there as well. Playing line guard, but the collapse is coming pretty hard and fast. Hizdo. This is a battle of patience, and who's going to give first? So Dire is going to be spotted. Levi there, as is Elio and Artemis, but no. Neither of them show. I think realistically, pretty smart call from both. And in fact, Team Secret Wales gonna stick around here. That Cloud Salt, a lot of mobility offered to GAM, and valuably so. Kiaya with the Cloud Salt is gonna be very capable of sticking to some of these slipperier champions. Artican, a minute 15 down on this bot side. Realistically, fight will be brewing there at some point in the next 2.5 minutes over Drake number 3 and likely Artican as well. For now, the LOL quintessential, the LCP Farm Fest. Last Whisper even for Eddie. So he's doing well in terms of his items. He's going to be able to shred through Kiaya just a little bit more. Artemis just trying to do anything that he can. A little bit of chip damage here, a little bit of chip damage there to Eddie. But not sticking. Just going to be a battle to clear Pryor over these waves. Farm up more and more his dough. Black Cleaver done. The second. Team Secret Wilds and gets plenty of value. Dyer. Just going to be catching these waves. Imagine likely the Rift Maker second, given how much uptime he's going to have in these fights. Could be a potential angle for an early Bloodletters, but it's Leandri's even. Okay, so he's just raw damage. He's very confident with how he is in the game. Has the Conquerors as well. Not to mention just Demonic Ascension being crazy in terms of just how much sustain it gives you. Artican tagged by GAM, but they will back off for the moment. We are 50 seconds out for Dragon number 3. The name of the game. Oh boy, Hero just stops short of the line, drops the control ward. Kiaya might be able to get that initiation that he was looking for. So we'll just clear up the wave. Sante pretty darn good at that. Both of them have TP. So could look to get involved in a subsequent fight in the bot lane at any point. Things do kick off, but with 26 seconds to go on that Dragon, it is just going to be a recall angle. Look for the reset and then come join as things look to get underway. Hot lane duos in the mid lane, not going to clear out these waves. It is just a battle for Pryo. With 8 seconds left, Dragon is going to be up any moment. Oh, what an angle. They found the handshake onto Elio. He's been CC'd into oblivion and he's dead. The Culling gets some good damage out, and unfortunately, just not anticipating a Death Brush stack on the bot side of the river, and that is a huge amount of your fight potential. That Magnet Storm, crazy value, but no cease and desist. They can look to try and siege out the tower. Handshake comes out, Crescent Sweep, Kiaya jumping in. The redemption is going to be there. Dragon now spawning. 4 seconds, no TP. Unfortunately, it will likely just be this Dragon. Oh. No, maybe not. Kiai is here, Levi is here. TP's coming out from Ares as he looks to get himself back into the fray. As that here is entrance, Dragon will be taken. They're going to look to try and collapse here onto Kiai. In goes Ares. Great taunt onto 2, but the hostile takeover completely turns it about. Kiai, unfortunately, can do nothing as this mid laner falls. A Team Secret Wilds looking to get it done in 3. Here, all out onto 1. It's Eddie. He's down. It's another 1 for 1. It's 3 for 1. It's all going to bits here for GAM. Unfortunately, Kiaya is a bit of a monster. In comes Hizdo, looking for that Vault Breaker. The damage, the unfortunate ending of an all out there for Kiaya. A 4 for 2. They do, however, get Eddie and Dyer in that engagement. It looked like maybe Kiai was going to be able to turn this one around, but no, not to be. And Team Secret Wales rocket themselves into a pole position. 9-8 the kill score. I mean, you look at how that started. Elio gets caught. Ares recalls, TP's back in. He's going to get a great taunt off, but unfortunately he dies for his efforts. Comes screaming on in the Justice Punch. They land the taunt onto both Taki and Ares. Well, rather Dyer. Doesn't matter, Ares still falls pretty darn quick. Levi just completely 1v1'd out by Hizdo. And Artemis runs desperately for his life. It's not enough. Kiaya, an absolute beast in this game so far. But it's not a Kazante that you're expecting to carry the game for you. Oh dear. Artican going to be started here by GAM. Vision was there. Now with an actual 5v5 fight. Is there a potential angle in which they can take this? Hizdo just sniffing around. Ares has that lane prio. Kiaya there. Entire 5 stack, and Hero is a wee way off. Vault Breaker out. The Croc, he's coming down that river. He's coming screaming on in. He's going to wrap in through that dry brush fight. Starts looking for the steal. The bailout is just going to keep Dyer alive for 2. He gets the double up the Ascension. The only kill goes the way of Ares for GAM, but it's an absolute routing yet again. For the 3rd game in a row, Team Secret Wales storm over another team fight. And the last hopes of GAM might be falling before our very eyes. This Swain champion getting crazy value. You look at it, Dyer on the front line, just harassing and haranguing, stunned out, all out. Demonic Ascension into the bailout. And just that tick of damage finishes off Levi, allows Dyer to stay alive just that little bit longer. And unfortunately, Vares, he's slammed into the wall by the Vault Breaker. Oh, I think Hongq has cracked the code with this Swain champion. Absolutely. In the middle of all this melee is thriving. The Demonic Ascension is inevitable. 25 minutes on, one good team fight. Realistically, could be all it takes though for GAM. Especially around a Baron Pit with the Cloud Soul. 90 seconds to Cloud. Baron up and alive, and unfortunately it's a pretty darn quick take with Eddie up and alive. So I don't know if realistically you can comfortably trade. 2,000 gold the lead in the jungle for Hizdo. He's nearly 50 CS up on Levi. Just shows you how much control they've had in what is now a 26-odd minute game. Vision so important, and this Xayah pick so slippery, so hard to stick to. Tower in the mid lane going to be going down. All but uncontested. Vault Breaker over the wall. Hizdo's looking to chase Levi here. And the entire team's in there. Crescent Sweep. They found Levi. Has the flash, but nowhere to go. The Rylai's from Dyer, and that is bound to be a Baron take. What a read from the young whales. They find Levi in the jungle and remove any chance they have at contesting. A 4v5 hero play would be required to deny this, and unfortunately it feels nigh inevitable. The whales are just such a big force. Unfortunately, Kaya handshaked out. He's looking to go in. Elio's there as well, looking for a fight. They wanted the Cullings coming down to 1,500. Heroes entrance, but they're all dead. It's a big Baron taken, not even contested, and yet more kills go into the pocket of Eddie. Hizdo begs himself too, and Team Secret Wales in the back room, they know they have just tipped the scales, and it is all but inevitable that they are worlds bound. It is all done bar the paperwork. The tier 2 taken in the mid lane, Baron up with only Captain Levi to hold. A heartbreaking moment for GAM fans as they are staring down the barrel of being denied. Dragon taken. Unlikely that the soul will come into play, and GAM bitterly fighting, trying to make anything happen. But Dyer, Eddie hitting so hard right now, and Taki just this massive problem. Such a disruption in the middle of these team fights, and the hostile takeover means that Elio can do next to nothing in that team fight, and the feathers rain out from Eddie. And Team Secret Wales on the cusp of taking their first spot in an international event in the LCP. Would be getting to show up in front of a home crowd next weekend in Da Nang. And it just feels like that there is nothing to be done here for GAM. The chokehold is well in place, and Team Secret Wales tighten. Millimeter by millimeter. This thing's potentially fading to black here for the GAM's competitive year. On the top side though, RS looking to take what he can. Gets himself that bounty from the tier 1 in the top lane, but they lose the tier 2 for it. TP's back. Doesn't want to go about recalling. Takes too long. Needs to be a little bit more proactive. They want an angle in with the hero's entrance, and this Renata pick for Taki. Just some insane value. Levi going in Crescent Sweep. Here comes the hero's entrance, but Eddie uses that Feather Storm. Get into the back line. The Maiden Storm's there. Down goes Eddie. Down goes Taki. They're winning this fight handily. Hizdo for 1, but he will fall as well. It's unfortunate in the back line, but look at that. The damage from Dyer is massive. He has completely drained GAM and drained their hopes to boot an ace again. And GAM denied in a 3-0 sweep the nearest player, Elio. It may just not be enough, though. I don't know if Hizdo and Dyer take these towers quickly enough. They're going to try. They're racing through the Nexus towers. It is all business until the bitter end. Hizdo tanking. Here comes Elio looking to get in. The TP's coming through. It could be all Jova. Unfortunately, here comes Taki onto the Nexus. They are fighting, but the respawn's coming through. They are looking to deny, but Team Secret Wales are inevitable. 3-0 sweep. And they will be our third team going to Worlds 2025. And you look at it, the elation. On one side, nothing but pure bliss on the other. Heartbreak for GAM. And GAM have worn their hearts on their sleeve all year. And respect to them. Consistently a top performer. And just look how much it means to the Team Secret Wales fans and the support staff coming out to stage to join them. They have battled all year. It has been an absolute roller coaster for them, and Eddie can't hold it back any longer. But for GAM, I mean, you cannot help but feel something for this roster. These guys, even when they have looked down and out, have battled. Time and time again, the story, the history of that GAM roster is just insane. But Team Secret Wales will be headed to Da Nang to represent the only home team from the VCS to make it to our live finals next weekend. And that man, Dyer, just so integral to their success, not just today, but throughout this year. And GAM, for the last time in 2025, take to the stage and bow. And what a year it has been for them. They made it to MSI, denying PSG talent. Unfortunately, they could not do it again. And Eddie, a name worth remembering. What? And this man here, oh, a statement made. This guy is an absolute character, but Taki, if he is not the player of the match, I am just flabbergasted. This team looks drastically different without his involvement. And again, a third goal graph, which is just entirely Team Secret Wales skewed. GAM did warm up throughout that series. They did look better and better as the games went on, and Kiaya was a massive problem up until Dyer got involved in those team fights. And in a 3-0 sweep, we have our top three teams here in the LCP. CFO, PSG Talent, and Team Secret Wales. And it will be Team Secret Wales, PSG Talent fighting to see who joins CFO for a potential contest for that top seed. But this series, another phenomenal series. Team Secret Wales have been battling all year to break the playoffs curse, as it were. Just absolutely swept out season kickoff, mid-season, but this time around they fight all the way through, and yeah, that just tells me exactly what I want to know. Oh no, okay, maybe it's Eddie that's stolen away MVP. I think that's a bit of a heist. He played phenomenally, but none of that success would have happened without Taki. I'll give it to the bot lane duo. There you go. But Eddie, player of the match. I'd just give it to the bot lane duo as a whole, because they were both just crazy good throughout that entire series. Yunara Kaisa, Zaya gets it done. Just breaking ankles, kicking butt and taking names. And he'll get to do it in front of a home crowd next weekend. No longer in enemy territory, no longer in the home of the PCS. Next weekend we go to the VCS. Oh, it's exciting times. Oh boy. And Team Secret Wales to Worlds to boot. You know, these guys, are, if they play the way they played tonight, are really going to upset some teams. It's not a play style that the Western world likes all that much, is just brute force fighting from start to finish. But as it stands, unfortunately, with only 3 teams remaining, it was only one VCS team that could have made it through after a phenomenal playoffs bracket run. You look out through this entire game, you can understand what the game plan was. It just was such a hard game plan to execute. The team fighting, the precision, the calling from Team Secret Wales tonight has been impeccable. The mistakes they made were few and far between, and even then, none of them were all that egregious. This Swain champion as well. Endigalio, just such a problem into a predominantly melee draft. Just gets so much value from the Ascension. Especially with that Rylai's, very hard to stick to. Constantly going to have that uptime in the middle of team fights. GAM did look much better in Game 3 compared to their first 2. We'll have to see, maybe, in the 2026 season, that's when they can start their international campaign yet again. Jaya really felt like he was getting to a point of being unstoppable. But no longer the Cassante of old, not going to be that absolute carry force that he was. And again, you look at the middle of these team fights. Dire, just soaking damage. Taki with a hostile takeover. Absolutely routing GAM's team fights, time and time again. That's exactly why they held it to the last pick. Oh, unfortunately, there's just too much to do for Kiaya. An insurmountable task in the face of it. Once again, Dire should have, by rights, died here, if not for the fact that Renata, who's picked up, goes in, bail out, and just that little last tick of damage onto Levi allows him to survive that little bit longer as he finds himself too. And all the while, throughout the entire series, Eddie just became such a steamroll. And the elation, understandably so, from Team Secret Wales. They have earned this off the performance tonight. Levi gets caught. Team Secret Wales make that call to immediately start up the Baron and the 4v5. There's only so much GAM can do, especially when Artemis is wailing on his top laner. Caught by that hostile takeover. And to close it all, GAM, I mean, look, it was a great shout, and I thought for sure they might have been able to make something happen, but all the while, Dire just stacking up Conqueror is so huge right now, and then has the Seekers in the back pocket, goes golden, gets just that little bit of healing, gets the root off, Histo comes in, pops both of them, and seals that deal. And you can just see how much it means these VCS teams wear their hearts on their sleeve. But I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We are done. Next time you see the English broadcast, it will be in Da Nang next weekend for that lower bracket final. Make sure you are there because it is going to be absolutely electric. Team Secret Wales come through tonight. A 3-0 sweep of GAM. Unfortunately, the old guard cannot stand the test of this young blood, that vitality that Team Secret Wales has been bringing, that outright, unfettered aggression. And they roll over them. Team Secret Wales, I mean, they showed this. They showed this pretty frequently early on in the year. And there is the bracket leading in to next weekend, of course, Saturday. PSG Talent taking on Team Secret Wales, and then Grand Finals Sunday. A week from today, the winner of that best of 5 versus CFO to see how that seeding rounds out going into Worlds 2025. The gauntlet, the VCS gauntlet, Team Secret Wales runs it entirely. And there you go, September 20th, Saturday. PSG Talent, Team Secret Wales, 5 games to get it done. Both teams looking absolutely amazing at the moment. But thank you so much for joining me tonight in my one-man show. I'm glad you stuck it out because it was an epic series. We're done, we're dusted. I'm not going to hold you much longer. Make sure you're back for next weekend. We're heading to Da Nang. We'll see you there.
I am on the spectrum, then you are to my love. 'Cause we are all peculiar in all our little ways. If I am not what you are, then that doesn't make me crazy. You do you, and I'll be free. Who decides what's normal in a personality? I'll be me, feel free to disagree, but God was not mistaken when it came making me. You do you, and I'll be free. Who decides what's normal in a personality? I'll be me, feel free to disagree, but God was not mistaken when it came making me. So what's my diagnosis? What's my box of frogs? Label my psychosis and then throw me to the dogs. Mic drop.
Never chose to lose my head this soon, but I never had an ex like you. Call you on a late night, might get through. Do you feel it too? Does he tell you slow down, don't rush? Does he let you go when you speed it up? When you wake up, does it feel like love? 2 a.m., does it feel like us? Are you thinking of me? Some dead ideas when we stroke your hair as you go to sleep. I've been wishing your eyes so when I shut my eyes, just a little more love and a little less time. A little less time. A little less time. 'Cause it feels like we're not just a body, empty shell. I took your soul, fed it to a black hole because you find it fun to be overrun. I'm speaking for you now, I'm in control now. Took a pill just to feel, try to heal, but what's the appeal? In losing yourself, you'll hurt yourself. Lost in the moment, here's your condolence. You left your mind at home. I said you'd never dance alone. Eyes are blurry, words are slurry. Just like you're staying out till early. Na 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 na. Sun comes up, smell the air. Life is different, now you're not in there. Thought you'd have your fun, but what have you done? You're on your own now, cold as stone now. Took a pill for thrill. Your free will, and it was yours until you lost yourself, forgot yourself. Just for a moment, now you feel broken. You left your mind at home. I said you'd never dance alone. Eyes are blurry, words are slurry. Looks like you're staying out too early. Na 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 na. You're blinded, slow-minded, distracted.